this season. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Randy Cross. So at the end of a week of internal finger pointing, the question is, as far as the Eagles are concerned, they have some lineup changes offensively that we'll tell you about. But what about Jeff Hostetler and his help for the Giants at quarterback?
Well, Hostetler's got the bad ribs, and Philadelphia is going to give him 8- and 9-man up looks, trying to stuff the run and get after Hostetler. That leaves a man up on the corners. That shows absolutely no respect for the wide receivers of the New York Giants. From the Philadelphia standpoint, Keith Byars will start at tight end in an effort to get that part of the passing game going for Randall Cunningham, who, if you look at week 4, was an absolute star in this league, and his job was to win football games. Right now, Randall Cunningham's job is to keep his job and to try not to mess up football games.
Okay, Randy, tell us where the checks fall in this game.
All right, I think you got to look at this one. Offense, got to go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Defense, Philadelphia Eagles. Special teams, Giants. Team speed, Philadelphia. And as far as intangibles, I give both these teams W's. They've been whining so much this week. I think it's hurt them internally. And a team that loses this game, I think, is getting ready to do the El Foldo in '92.
A lot of turmoil on the turnpike this week. 64 degrees. That's not a misprint. Balmy weather for this time of the year. We've had heavy rains already, but as the game starts, it is not raining. And we'll have a wind of 15 miles per hour. And wind always seems to be a factor here at Giants Stadium. Roger Ruzek will kick off for the Eagles. The Giants have won the toss and they'll receive. And going back deep for the New Yorkers on the left is Dave Meggett and Joey Smith lining up on the right. The Eagles have won 7 of their last 8 against the Giants. They've had the Giants numbered. Gets this game underway with a line drive kick, and Meggett will down it in the end zone for a touchback, and the Giants will start from the 20-yard line. Jeff Hostetler coming off his lowest passing output of the season against Denver, and up front for the Giants, John Elliott, William Roberts, Bart Oates at center, Eric Moore and Doug Riesenberg on the right side, and Howard Cross the tight end. Good running backs, and Rodney Hampton and Jared Bunch, with Ed McCaffrey and Stephen Baker the wide receiver.
And watch early, Dick. 8, 9 guys in the old box trying to stuff this Giants running game.
Starting from the I formation. Now Hampton shifts. And Hampton going off the right side. And picks up 3 or 4 yards. Tackle made by William Thomas. Up front, the Eagles defensive line, and they're looking for more sacks from Reggie White, Andy Harmon and Mike Golick the tackles, and Clyde Simmons second in the NFC in getting to the quarterback. Seth Joyner, Byron Evans, and William Thomas are the linebackers. John Booty and Eric Allen the cornerbacks, with Wes Hopkins and Rich Miano the safeties. Second down and 6 at the Giants 24. 3 wide receivers. The time, the pass to Jared Bunch, and will have an incompleted pass. Nearly intercepted by Wes Hopkins on the pass intended for Jared Bunch and off his fingertips.
But it's the kind of pass that Hostetler has to complete in this game. Short, efficient passing is what they need to do against Philadelphia. Green Bay beat him with it last week, and Bunch should have had this one. Watch Hopkins just get in, get one hand, but the ball hits the ground.
Giants coming into this game second in the NFL in rushing behind the 49ers. They like to loosen up that running game with a couple of passes. It'll be 3rd down and 6 from the 24. Hostetler's numbers, only 1 interception this year.
You got to go after Hostetler early and get a hit on those injured ribs.
He's getting some pressure, gives ground, and the pass intended for Meggett, and that nearly could have been a dangerous situation with Izell Jenkins in the neighborhood. Good pressure by Seth Joyner, and that'll bring up 4th down.
He was getting more pressure than he really should have on a normal screen. The rush was not slowed up enough, and you can't blame Hostetler for just trying to dump that one and get rid of it, because he was going to take a shot.
4th down, and Sean Landeta, who has been kicking tremendously the last 2 games, averaging over 51 yards. And going back deep by Sikahema and Jeff Seidner. Sikahema, number 22. Good kick. But the cover's Pitches it good by the Giants, and Sikahema with a return. Penalty marker down, and by Sikahema. Now another one goes flying as Sikahema finds his way close to midfield. A return of 16 yards. Renee Thompson on the tackle, but there were 2 flags.
They're going to call a block in the back here. It was a pretty marginal call. Could have gone either way because it looked like the blocker's head was in front of the punt, the guy covering on the punt.
Dick Hantak is our referee today.
We have multiple fouls. We have an illegal black in the back on the return. We have offensive holding also by the return team. We are declining the holding foul, accepting the illegal black in the back. 10 yards, first down.
As a result of the penalty, the Eagles will lose real good field position for their first possession of the game. Randall Cunningham, who is indeed second in the NFC's passer up front. Heller, Shad, Alexander, Floyd, and Davis. They've been healthy this year. Keith Byers, as Randy says, starting at tight end today. Keith Sherman is at running back with Herschel Walker, with Fred Barnett and Calvin Williams, the usual duo at wide receiver.
Dick, don't be fooled by that quarterback rating of Randall Cunningham as being number 2 in the NFC. Got off to a great start, but since then, he's been weak at best.
At best. Let's emphasize that. First down on the 28th. And the handoff to Heath Sherman, and he may have a first down. Tackle made by Steve Diassi. You're right, lately Cunningham has been struggling in a big way.
Well, you look at these stats. The quarterback ratings it's kind of like, the playoff formula. They've got some mad scientist somewhere that figures this out, but it is something lead wide and it's uniform. And I mean, when your quarterback rating is less than 50% of where you started, though 142 is unrealistic. Randall has thrown balls into the ground. He's been benched, and really last week he did not play well against Green Bay.
First down on the 39-yard line. Cunningham swings it out of the backfield to Herschel Walker. Walker will have another Eagle first down and gets into Giant territory after a gain of 13 yards, knocked out of bounds by Perry Williams. The Giant defensive line, Eric Dorsey, Eric Howard, and Leonard Marshall. Got to get a pass rush from someone. Banks, Pepper Johnson volunteered. Steve Diassi and Corey Miller, who will share the position with Kanavis McGee. Mark Collins and Perry Williams are the corners, and Greg Jackson and Lamar McGriggs the safety. Ray Handley looking to take the early lead, and a first down. Up the middle, Heath Sherman, the ball carrier, and a gain of 3 yards. Another man who took a little heat this week with Rich Kotite. Both coaches took heat from their own players.
Well, Rich Kotite's used to getting heat from a lot of sources, but he took it from his own players after the game, last Sunday, and made a real point of sort of saying, I don't have to defend myself on my calls. But he defended himself so much, it was a heck of a defense. I happen to agree with what he did. You're backed up like that. You're in a tied game situation. You take a chance and put your defense back on the field. That doesn't stop the opposition. That's not very smart.
Jeff Joyner complained that they were too conservative inside their own 20, and Walker fumbled and they lost the game. 2nd and 7 at the 45 of the Giants. Randall Cunningham is going to look to run, and he is hit by 2 Giants. And will gain only 1 yard. They were trying to get him from behind. Corey Miller and Lamar McGriggs both sandwich Randall Cunningham.
And this is a play that makes a quarterback like Randall Cunningham or Steve Young very dangerous. Just a couple of clean whiffs up front, but he's got the quickness and he's got the agility to escape and make something out of that play, because it should have been a sack.
3rd and 6 on the 44. That's Cunningham's rushing numbers this year. They have 4 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun. Cunningham's pass is intercepted by Greg Jackson. And he is down at the 45 of the Giants. First turnover of the game.
Watch Pepper Johnson blitzing over the right guard. Byers gets in there. Nice try, Keith. Nice interception. The Giants getting the start they wanted against a team they have a tough time with.
That's the 4th interception of the year for Jackson.
Can't be champagne. I like it.
That's beautiful.
Excuse me?
Excuse me.
Find out the name of this, but don't
Don't be too obvious.
Sparkling, delicious. No champagne tastes like Balatori.
Frankly, I think it tastes better than champagne.
You wouldn't happen to know the name of this, would you?
Balatori.
Balatori.
2 L's.
Theater near you.
Just try Black & Decker's Power Driver with torque control. You'll notice one major difference, the clutch. The higher the setting, the more powerful it gets. Power Driver and Power Driver with torque control from Black & Decker.
So that's what it looks like from the front.
Two keys to that play. Pepper Johnson coming on a big blitz, and Byers can't block him. And watch how Jackson reacts when he sees Randall Cunningham throwing this ball off. Watch how fast he fills up. This is called game planning and knowing what your opponents have done in the past. Very nice anticipation by Jackson.
Greg Jackson with his 4th interception and the 9th for the Giants this year, and that will give them good field position when they start from the 45-yard line. Keep in mind that the Eagles very much concerned over a porous defense last week. They yielded the most yards since December of '89, 410, and that was by the Packer offense. Ross, the tight end, in motion. And a play fake. Hostetler to throw on first down. Has time, and his pass is for Howard Cross. Right in between 2 defenders, and he gets inside the 30-yard line. Gain of 26 and a first down with John Booty defending.
And this is something Mike Holmgren's Packers last week did a lot of, bringing their tight end in motion and getting him down the field. And Philadelphia couldn't solve the problem last week and don't do it today. And one of the reasons is they didn't get near Hostetler. Watch Riesenberg going against White. That's called putting a little stuff on the best defensive end in football.
Dave Meggett is in the game. First down at the 28. Normally he's been a 3rd down back. 3 wide receivers in Meggett, and Hostetler tries to get the ball off with an eagle on his shirt from behind. Meggett was the intended receiver, and Reggie White very nearly picked up the sack.
A quarterback can put up with late pressure, but there's very little he can do with quick pressure. Watch Harmon right now. Reggie White, Harmon, the whole front 4 seems to sag in inside. And when you're getting Reggie White inside, you've got to, as an offensive line, keep track of where 92 is. You can't put your center or guard one-on-one against this guy because he cannot be blocked that close to the ball. His reactions are too good.
2nd down and 10 on the 28-yard line. 10 and a half to go in the first quarter. Once again with time, and the pass was intended for Derek Brown. Giants are going to be using a lot of 2 tight ends today, and back there defending was Eric Allen.
You know, up to this point, we got a little pressure on that 2 plays ago from Reggie White, but the Giants are coming out and they're doing to the Eagles defense what the Eagles defense claims nobody can do to them, and that's just come out and throw straight drop back passes and dare this rush to come after their quarterback.
Third down and 10. On the 28, Mark McMillan, rookie from Alabama, expected to play considerably, is in at cornerback for the Eagles. Hostetler's pass, and it's caught. Stephen Baker, and that'll be good enough for a Giant first down. 13-yard pickup. Eric Allen defending on the play.
Another good job by the New York Giants line, holding off this rush just long enough. Reggie White coming over Bart Oates on a one-on-one. He'll get there more often than not, but Hostetler stepped right up into that throw, and a nice job by Baker of staying with it. But watch it again. That's a bull rush, folks. There's no move or quickness there. That's a 310-pound defensive end.
Giants were sacked 5 times last week against Denver, but they have been nearly perfect inside the red zone this year. That is not an impressive start from inside the red zone in this game. A loss of 1 yard for Jared Bunch.
Well, they're testing the area I think you have to run against Rich Kotite's defense. You've got to go inside in between the tackles. You know, much has been made of Jerome Brown not being here this year after passing away in that tragic accident, but that's where Green Bay ran against them. They ran right at Harmon. They ran right at Evans. They attacked the middle of the line, and Golick wasn't in on many tackles for Bud Carson either.
We may see more of Mike Pitts in this game as a result. Second down and 11. Here's a play fake. Hostetler has some time. He gets rid of the ball and throws it out of the end zone. He was chased by Andy Harmon and had to throw it away.
You know, actually, after seeing Jeff Hostetler Sunday night go off the field in that silly-looking little cart in that game against the Broncos, he's holding his ribs. He looked like it was something near fatal. Suddenly Wednesday, he shows up at practice. He's throwing the ball. He's feeling good. I mean, it was a little curious to say the least.
They're the backup quarterbacks. Kent Graham would be the man to come in. Actually, Ray Handley said that Hostetler is actually healthier this week at the same time as he was last week. He took all the snaps Thursday and Friday, so he's feeling a lot better. Third down and 11 at the 17. Chris Callaway is the third wide receiver for the Giants. Hostetler on third down overthrows Callaway, so the Giants miss an opportunity to get 6, and they'll try to get on the board with a field goal.
You know, a fan on the field or in the stands would say, gee, this ball's high. How can he not just fire this in? Look what he's throwing over. Not only the rush, but he's throwing over the linebackers. There's no room to zip this ball in because of the drops the linebackers took for the Eagles.
Matt Barr suffered a strained right knee Thursday kicking, so that's why the Giants have 2 place kickers available today. Ken Willis was signed yesterday, but Barr is out there, and a 35-yard field goal attempt by Barr, and the kick is good. Feels good enough to give the Giants a lead with 8:49 remaining in the first quarter. 3-0 New York.
Do you know the national debt is almost $4 trillion?
That works out to roughly $16,000 for every man, woman, and child in the country.
Even the goldfish is into somebody for 30, 40 bucks.
Relax, I'll float you a loan. And with banks charging up to 19% interest on our credit cards, we're literally drowning in debt. No offense. This is the American Express card. No interest, no revolving debt. So you don't have to worry about going belly up. You're right. One too many. I didn't know he could do that.
Michael, are these your hands? Mm-hmm. Son, is there a reason why you wear them?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Think Mom would like me in these? Maybe.
Just wait till we get our hands on you.
Presenting the new Civic Del Sol from Honda. It's a sporty, open-top car with a very remarkable feature. When it's windy outside, it's not so windy inside.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, celebrating its 10th anniversary of automobile production in the United States. Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Castrol Syntec, the new synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Giants lead 3-0 on a Matt Barr field goal. As we told you, there are 2 kickers active for the Giants today. The other one, Ken Willis, will kick off for New York. He kicked for Dallas and Tampa Bay and won a duel with Raul Alegre on Friday. Vai Sikahema and Jeff Seidner is back for Philadelphia. The deeper man, though, is Seidner. And a short kick by Willis. Seidner, the rookie from Hawaii, begins from the 9-yard line. And he is smacked down at the 25-yard line. Corey Widmer on the tackle, so Randall Cunningham will bring the Eagles back, and already Randy's got his work cut out for him.
Well, it's been obviously very important for Philadelphia to get off to a good start. You see what they've done this year, but it's even more important for Randall Cunningham to get off to a good start, because I think this guy's confidence is the biggest problem he's having. It's not his arm, it's not his leg, it's his head.
John Washington has replaced Eric Howard at nose tackle for the Giants. First down on the 26, and here's Heath Sherman off the left side. Gets by a defender, and Greg Jackson will make the tackle on the play and a gain of 9 yards. Right now, let's send you across the river to our studios and Greg Gumbel with an update. Greg?
All right, Dick, Atlanta at Buffalo. The Bills figure to be in the end zone often against the worst defense in the NFL. Carwell Gardner has it started from 2 yards out. 7-0 Bills. First quarter, Dick.
A lot of people saying Buffalo should be the AFC team to survive to Pasadena. Why not?
Well, they've got an NFC-style defense, very aggressive, very talented.
Second down and 1.
There you go. That's it.
Heath Sherman has the first down. Gain of 3 yards. So Heath Sherman, who Rich Kotite yesterday says, I like him. He hits the holes, and he's getting a chance to start today with Walker.
He's a running back with snap. You know, they talk about linemen that have snap, or linebackers that hit guys and have snap. Here's a running back that runs with a little snap. That kind of an average always impresses coaches, but you saw his speed 2 plays ago getting around that corner. Remember, you know, in this offense as we speak, he's a fullback, but he's an awfully quick fullback.
First down from the 39-yard line. Calvin Williams in motion, and here is Herschel Walker, and he is hit behind the line of scrimmage. And good penetration by Leonard Marshall. He was the first to get to Herschel, and Eric Dorsey finished the job, and a loss of 1.
We might have had a little bit of a blown assignment here, because watch Leonard Marshall come across, and he's relatively what you might call unimpeded. And that's not the first guy Herschel Walker wants standing there in front of him. You can deal with a defensive back. You can sometimes juke out a linebacker even. But a big lineman like Marshall, no, he's not going to miss you.
Here are the Eagles who want him to be impeded. Second down and 11 on the 38-yard line. They split the running backs. Short drop, and the pass intended for Fred Barnett is incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 11.
And this is the situation that if you're the New York Giants defense, you bring it humming. You come after Randall Cunningham on this play. Take a chance, take a shot. If that means you got a man up on your corners, go ahead and do it. But you got to get after this quarterback early. Don't let him complete a big 3rd down and get a little confidence.
Already the Giants are playing far better in this game than they did against Denver last Sunday night. Roy Green comes in as a 3rd wide receiver for the Eagles. Here comes the blitz up the middle, and the pass by Cunningham is nearly intercepted by Perry Williams. He was all over the pass receiver Fred Barnett, and it's 4th down, and the crowd loves the Giants feed.
One disadvantage of Randall Cunningham's long, kind of loping delivery is I think it gives a corner and a safety, as we saw Jackson react earlier, a little more time to react where he's going with the ball. Thomas isn't mad about anything other than the fact that he thinks he should have had that ball, and he's absolutely right.
Jeff Eagles, who has been punting extremely well in recent weeks, will be kicking, and Dave Neggett is back deep for the Giants. High snap and a high kick. Neggett will try to return it. And he gained ground and lost about 10 yards as a result of trying to go the other way. And it was Ken Rose who made the tackle for the Eagles, and he lost 7 yards from the point he caught the punt. 3-0 Giants, 6:38 remaining in the first.
Not only is this Honda Accord designed to improve airflow, but cash flow as well. Introducing the Accord Lease Program. See your nearest dealer for details.
Well, we're almost there. Yeah, 3 years of digging and digging. But soon, our first taste of freedom. Here we are. Push.
What'll it be, boys?
2 Bud Lights, please.
Sorry, fellas, but we're all out.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You know, Larry, we really should carry more Bud Light.
One of these engines was filled with Castrol Syntec, a new synthetic oil. The rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec's unique molecular structure bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
You are watching the National Football League on CBS Sports.
Along with Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton in Giants Stadium. Giants capitalizing on a turnover, a Greg Jackson interception, and then Matt Barr kicked a 35-yard field goal to give the Giants a 3-0 lead, but they'll start from their own 17 on this drive.
And you got to think Hostetler's in that huddle right now talking to those big fellas he's got up front, trying to get the point across even a little more directly that, guys, I got to have a little protection. I got to have some time to throw the ball. By the same token, Jim Fassel and Ray Handley for the Giants have to get some 3 and quick 5-step drop passes off to take some of that heat off of Hostetler.
Mike Pitts has replaced Andy Harmon at tackle for the Eagles. So Pitts number 74 is in there, and on first down, Rodney Hampton with a good cut brings it up beyond the 20-yard line and a gain of 5 yards. Hampton coming in third in the NFC in rushing.
And that takes a little heat off a pass rush if you start slashing them inside and look for them to continue to attack inside.
And an injured player. It's one of the Eagles front four, and it appears to be Clyde Simmons, who coming into this game was second in the NFC with 11 quarterback sacks, one behind Chris Dolman of the Vikings.
And that's something from a strength standpoint. This Philadelphia Eagles need the 2 big defensive end. They've had Reggie White from one side and Clyde Simmons from the other. This would be a very, very crucial injury for the Eagles, because if you're the Giants and he's down and he's not in there, you attack the whole left side with your running game. You match Big Jumbo Elliott in on whoever takes Simmons' spot.
And keep in mind, when you have Reggie White and not Clyde Simmons, you can afford to double team Reggie White. You can't do that all the time when you have a Clyde Simmons. And that's part of the story, is why the Eagles have had perhaps in recent years the best front four in the league.
Well, the backup for Clyde Simmons too is Mike Flores, who at 6'3", 260 is significantly smaller than Clyde Simmons and gives up a whole bunch to Jumbo. Nobody really knows what Jumbo weighs, but I know it's a lot more than 260.
The Eagles this week lost Britt Hager, who was their 4th linebacker and effective against the run with a herniated disc. He's on injured reserve, and of course Andre Waters has been out, the strong safety. Simmons gets up and walking off on his own power.
There's Randall Cunningham on the sideline with Herschel Walker going over the Xeroxes, a little drawing on there, trying to figure out how do you get not only Keith Byers, your tight end, but more importantly, I think, is how do you get a Herschel Walker involved in your passing game? Here's a guy that lined up in the slot, lined up at wide receiver, caught over 70 balls for Dallas one year. Throw him the ball.
Those are your weapons. Mike Flores indeed has replaced Clyde Simmons. 2nd down and 4 for the Giants on their 23. And gets good yardage. A pickup of 13 yards. Mike Golick and Eric Allen on the play.
Well, some running backs scoot and some others kind of squirt down the field. This guy just takes yardage. He doesn't ask, he takes it. A 250-some-odd-pound fullback. When you're dragging defensive linemen down the field, that's always a good sign for the guys in blue when you got somebody that size as a pass receiver.
Clyde Simmons injured his right foot, and they'll determine whether he can get back in this game. Meanwhile, the Giants with a 1st down on their 36. Remember, they started from the 17. Rodney Hampton driving forward. And his knee touched after a 7-yard gain. Wes Hopkins And Mike Pitts in on the tackle. Great acceleration by Hampton.
The guy that has to pick up the slack is right here, Reggie White at the nose. He goes this way, and Hampton goes this way. Watch how this develops. White goes one way. They're getting the hooks and the block downs all along that line of scrimmage. And this is just attitude time for the New York Giants offense. They have to establish the fact that they've got a little bit meaner and a little bit more of an attack attitude than the Philadelphia defense.
2nd down and 3. The quarterback's delight with 4:35 to go. Hostetler on the pressure, and down he goes. So even without Clyde Simmons, Reggie White, you can single him, double him, he'll get in there anyway, and picks up the sack and a loss of 7 yards.
Well, they call him a lot of things, Minister of Defense. If I played against him, I'd call him Mr. White, because he just schools Riesenberg here and goes after Hostetler. That wasn't even close.
Reggie White came in the game with just 5.5 sacks, well below what he normally gets. He says, I'm so desperate for a title, I don't care how many sacks I get. You don't normally hear that from a lineman.
Well, that's the kind of leader. It speaks to the kind of guy Reggie is. He makes the point, you know, I'm not a talker on the field. Jerome Brown was a talker on the field. Pepper Johnson from the Giants, he's a talker on the field. I want guys to get inspiration from the way I play, not from what I say.
1st down on the 36. 3rd down and 10. And a deep pass for Stephen Baker. He's got it. He beat Eric Allen. And a huge gain of 45.
Watch Stephen Baker right here head down the field, but more importantly, watch him towards the end of the play. For those of you that want to be wide receivers, you kids out there, you hear the term adjusting to the ball. Look at him looking inside, suddenly flips that head around going the other way. You don't realize how hard that is. Look at that. Adjusting back the other way. That's no slouch, Eric Allen covering him. He's been to 2 Pro Bowls. Great job by Stephen Baker.
The Eagles are determined to single cover the Giant outside receivers, and they got burned there. First pass on 1st down to Callaway, and the pass is low, incomplete, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
But that's the kind of pass we talked about, Dick. That's a quick 3-stepper. Get back there and fire that thing on timing. Hostetler fired that thing a little bit low, but that's another kind of a pass that you have to establish against this defense to try to keep Reggie White out of your face.
And that was on a 3rd down play. Giants began from their 17-yard line, and now they're on the Eagles' 19. There's the time remaining in the 1st quarter. 3-0 the Giants lead. Jared Bunch off the left side. And he bowls his way to the 15-yard line before Byron Evans makes the play and a gain of 5 yards. And Clyde Simmons, we understand, is going to be coming back into the game, and he has returned to the game for the Eagles at defensive end.
I'd say at this game, if you don't have a body part dangling off by a thread, you get your tail back in there, you tell them to tape it up. Worry about it in February, because this game, I think, is going to decide which direction these 2 teams take for the rest of this season. You got to go and do whatever you can. Bud Carson's doing whatever he can. He's got 9 guys coming after him, and that's his best can right there, and that's Reggie White.
Giants are 1 game behind Philly and Washington, who are wild card teams right now. 3rd down and 5. Hostetler runs into trouble, trying to look for an opening, and he finds a wide open Meggett for a touchdown. Talk about ad-libbing. Jeff Hostetler with an exhibition of it there. A 14-yard TD strike to Dave Meggett, his 2nd touchdown catch of the year.
That's the kind of play the old-style drop-back quarterback just cannot make. Hostetler creates this. Reggie White looks like he's got him hooked. Suddenly, Riesenberg and Oates block that entire side off, and Joyner was taking a guess on a sack.
Matt Barr kicks the extra point. So when Pepper Johnson talked about street yard football, we saw an example of that there as the Giants lead 10-0.
"18 years ago, Honda introduced a new class of car to America. The Accord. Now we'd like to introduce a new class of Accord. with fine leather appointments, anti-lock brakes, and dual airbags. The Accord SE from Honda.
Make it clear. Make it colorful. Make it both. The DeskJet 550C. With DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard, it's easy to make it happen. Make it clear. Make it colorful. Make it both. The DeskJet 550C. With DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard, it's easy to make it happen.
It's Thanksgiving in Sicily, and guess who's the turkey?
They say I owe them a fifth year of medical service.
How about that? An all-new Northern Exposure Monday.
Maybe surprising that Dave Meggett, one of the Giant aces on offense, only his second touchdown of the year, both as a receiver. And the Giants lead 10-0, and there is the scoring drive, a good one, 83 yards.
Kotite was prophetic. He said last night, I got to stop Hostetler, and we got to stop Meggett.
Couldn't stop either one of them on that last play. Willis will kick off for the Giants. Sikahema insider. Sikahema returning from the 15-yard line. Gets to good hole by Sikahema. Still going, and a great return on the kickoff. Giant coverage teams have been less than mediocre, and a 41-yard return by Sikahema into Giant territory with Sparks making the tackle.
Well, I think this guy's been doing these returns since I was about in my third year. Sikahema has been here forever, and this is what his specialty is, and that's giving his team a little bit of a spark. There are a lot of guys in the NFL that are faster than Sikahema the way he goes out the field, but nobody picks the holes like a runner does in the as a running back. Sikahema can do that great on returns.
Longest kickoff return of the year for the Eagles. 41 yards, first down on the Giant 46. Cunningham has the pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Steve Diassi penetrated and got a hand on it.
Take a look at that last touchdown real quick. Watch Joyner up here. You talk about freelancing, you talk about guessing. He's got Meggett man on man, you know. Watch him go outside. I got him. I got him. Now here comes the guess. He's thinking run. Hostetler's not running. He lets Meggett get behind him.
And the crowd taunting Cunningham by cheering Randall. Second down and 10. Cunningham is buried back on his own 45-yard line. Leonard Marshall and Carl Banks, and a loss of 8 yards.
Well, this will go to an individual, but watch a team wave move this way. This should be a team sack because the entire front of the Giants defense just collapses in on Randall Cunningham. We talked about confidence. We talked about Cunningham having to get after people and having to get a good start. This hasn't been a good start, and he's not doing it against a team that's been known this year for getting a lot of sacks. Heck, 5 of those 13 are by Lawrence Taylor. The rest of them only have 8.
Next to last in the league. Even inside on a gray day, sunglasses for Jimmy Mack. Third down and 18. Cunningham fires, and a wide open man is Fred Barnett. This is a street yard kind of game, like touch football in this street yard, and Barnett was wide open, and a 29-yard catch to the 25 with Greg Jackson bringing him down.
Well, Pepper Johnson said to Leslie Visser on NFL Today, he said, hey, look, I get the defense called by Rod Russ, but Randall Cunningham does stuff like this. You can't stay in the defense. You got to try to make something happen. Well, when defenders try to make things happen, you get big plays. But here's a little something. Little something's happening there. Hamilton slamming Cunningham down.
Eagles trailing 10-0. They have a first down on the Giant 25 with 45 seconds to go, and there's a play fake. And the pass, they get it off to Herschel Walker. Greg Jackson was there immediately and held Herschel to only a 4-yard gain.
Well, there wasn't much buy, Dick, on the behalf of that Giants defense. They tried to sell that quick play action, almost like a screen look to the other side, and as soon as Randall turned around, Eric Howard was right in his chops. Cunningham did a nice job of getting rid of that ball.
Sometimes that play can develop too quickly.
There's nothing wrong with getting a 3-4 yard gain on a play like this. You give them that play action, you give them the read, you give the coaches on the defensive side across the field just a little something extra to think about.
Well, the Eagles have a lot to think about here. They're in a deficit. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Giants Stadium with the score. The New York Giants 10 and the Philadelphia Eagles nothing.
Temple of Flight, shrine of the enlightened basketball mind. Come, experience ball mastery. Meditate that.
But Master, what if we behave badly?
You go to Detroit.
It's the way we make you feel that makes people fly British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Presenting the 190 horsepower Prelude VTEC. From Honda.
The Quick Finish Power Sander from Black & Decker. To do as much as easily, your hand would have to move at 15,000 strokes per minute and be equipped with a handy on-off switch. The Quick Finish Power Sander, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
This you gotta see. My guys, Bradshaw and Gumbel, on Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds. I'm a big fan. Hey, they're not wearing makeup, are they?
We begin the second quarter here at Giants Stadium. The Giants lead 10-0, but the Eagles threaten. Second down and 6 on the Giants 21. Cunningham. He's going in for the touchdown. Somebody may have missed something on the Giant defense because that was an easy score for Walker and the Eagles, 21 yards.
I'm going to take a wild stab here, Dick, but I think they missed Herschel Walker. That would be the biggest something they didn't cover. Because a little flip out here, they use Byers and the rest of the receivers inside, which clears out the old NBA one-on-one situation on the left. And that's not even close. I mean, the nearest guy to him at the end was Perry Williams, and he was 5 yards away coming off of Barnett.
Roger Ruzek, who has missed 2 conversions this year, looking to bring the Eagles to a 3, and the kick is no good. It was blocked. Might have been Washington in the middle. John Washington might have swatted that ball away. So as a result of that blocked extra point, it is 10-6 Giants.
The 1993 Toyota Tercel not only comes with a standard driver's side airbag, it's also Toyota's lowest price 4-door sedan. Why 4 doors? Because you never know when you might need the extra room.
Don't even think about it. What?
I told you Kmart would have antifreeze. Prestone will even send you $1.50 back.
I hope my mailman uses this.
Why?
Because I don't want his truck to break down when he's delivering my $1.50 rebate.
Do you think my husband would like this wet, dry vacuum for his workshop?
The 6-gallon shop vac?
Uh-huh.
Well, is he messy, very messy, or extremely messy?
Yes.
This is perfect. Let's tell Mom and Dad to buy our Christmas presents here. They'll save a lot.
I hope they appreciate us.
America's first choice. Napa Auto Parts.
At Napa, you'll always find top quality parts at a fair price. Plus, great holiday gift ideas for under $20. Like Napa's toy truck, with real truck sound, just $19.95. Napa's 3-amp battery charger, only $4.95 after rebate. Or your choice of Chilton's 93 repair manuals, just $13.95 each. Save on great gifts for under $20. At Napa, America's first choice.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
Meggett and Walker have scored the touchdowns for the respective teams. Giants have been able to move the ball through the air, and the difference is a Matt Barr field goal, also an extra point block. So the Giants lead by 4 points. Roger Ruzek will be kicking off. Dave Meggett and Joey Smith back deep for the Giants. Meggett is on the left side. And a short kick. Looking to return is Meggett on the 7. Meggett finds open field. One man to beat is McMillan, the rookie. And Meggett is headed for the end zone. Touchdown! 92 yards for Dave Meggett. What a difference a week makes for the Giants. Longest career kickoff return for Dave Meggett until today was 58 yards. He blasted that one out of the books with a 92-yard touchdown return. And the Giants lead it 16-6. And Matt Barr is aboard. That's the first Giant kickoff return for a touchdown in 20 years. Barr's extra point is good, and it's 17-6.
But coming into this game, Rich Kotite was worried about Dave Meggett. He might start having nightmares about Dave Meggett, because this is just pure Meggett here. He's getting some blocking, but not a whole heck of a lot of support. Now it's just speed and moves. The last guy's the rookie McMillan. Boy, he ripped his lip biting on that one. Running down the field, he could get caught at the end, but he won't be caught at the end. He just would not let it happen. Started running a little upright there, got a little tired. Like you said, Dick, 58-yard was his longest.
So this crowd, braving threatening skies, loving what they've seen so far in the first half. So Meggett with 2 touchdowns in this game. One as a receiver, the other returning the kickoff. So the woes for the Eagles, at least to this point, continue. Got off to a 4-0 start. Everyone had them earmarked for the Super Bowl, and the roof is caved in for Philadelphia. Keep in mind they have also lost 4 out of 5 on the road.
Well, it all depends on what offense for Philadelphia we're going to see from this point. If we see the offense from the last 4 weeks, yeah, the roof could cave in. If we see the one from the first month of the season, they've got big play, big strike ability.
Willis kicking off, and kicking off deep. And it's Sikahema at the goal line. And he is hit. Lamar McGriggs with the tackle. And the Giants are an aroused group.
Well, Meggett's touchdown was an answer to this. And now this defense is back on the field. Watch the coordination between the 2 linebackers trying to cover Herschel. Corey Miller riding Byers just a little bit too long down inside. Left Herschel wide open. Now watch as I say the ride downside. Watch Byers. That's too far. He jams him right into Diafi, and he's dead.
Eagles will start from their 15-yard line. Early in the second quarter, Herschel Walker finds a hole up the middle, fumble, and the Giants get it back. Pepper Johnson with the recovery. He backs up his talk, doesn't he?
This could be some dangerous signs for the Philadelphia Eagles, because now's when the defense starts complaining again about not getting support from the offense. A fumble from the backside. He fumbled in the crucial time last week. He's got a big fumble here, and now it's up to the Philadelphia defense to do it, or Philly's in huge, huge trouble.
Giants on the Eagle 23-yard line, leading 17-6. Hostetler can't go right. Now he's just going to go, and sore ribs and all, is stopped after a gain of 2 yards. And a penalty marker is down. William Thomas made the tackle on Hostetler.
That was a quick offsides by the Eagles, so they'll march that one back 5.
Offsides. Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
So in essence, a free play, and the Giants taking the penalty. It'll be first down and 5. Ray Handley again under siege by the New York media this week after the dismal loss to Denver, and the Giants desperate once again, coming in at 500, but one game behind the Eagles and the Redskins. All of the NFC East teams lost last week, and the Giants trying to get in solid in the wild card race.
And Dick, if you're talking desperate, the Philadelphia defense is desperate and may jump offsides again, I think.
Penalty marker down. Let's see if this wasn't against the offense.
False start. Offense. Number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So it's John Elliott, and after all of that, it'll be first down and 10.
And this is the time in the game where Bud Carson's defense has got to rise up, and they've got to get a big play. And when you're talking big play from his standpoint, you only got a few guys right now that are making the big plays for the defense. Reggie White, Joyner, Byron Evans in the middle. The ideal situation would be a sack for Reggie, but they'll take anything in the big play category, because this is chip shot field goal territory to put them down by 14 if they make a field goal here.
First and 10 on the 23-yard line. Hampton goes in motion. Hostetler ducks one defender, but he can't duck another, and the ball is blown dead. No fumble on the play and a loss of 4 yards. Reggie White with his second sack of the afternoon.
You know, if this was a grass field, you'd say, well, Reggie was trying to slam Hostetler down and make a divot with his shoulder and head in the grass. Well, you can't make a divot in AstroTurf, but Reggie came kind of close there on that sack. The key, watch inside as Reggie goes. You'll see a blur go by as a blitz. That was Byron Evans blitzing, and that's why Hostetler had to step up into Reggie White's hands.
Since the Eagles scored, they've suffered 3 demoralizing plays. The blocked extra point, the kick return for the touchdown, and Walker's fumble. See how they recover. Second down and 14 for the Giants. And Hampton out on the flat. And good coverage by Byron Evans, who's had an outstanding year for the Eagles at middle linebacker, and the gain is only 1 for the Giants.
Well, so far on back-to-back plays, we talked about the guys on this defense that have to make the big plays, being Reggie White with the sack, and now Byron Evans on a nice read of a little screen over there to Hampton. He was not fooled at all. They only had one blocker, and the blocker was already by Evans by the time Evans came underneath that play.
There you see Evans leading the team with 94 tackles, and he has 4 interceptions, picking up his 4th last week against the Packers. Eagles defensively inside the red zone have not been all that effective. 3rd down and 13 out of the shotgun for Hostetler. And he drills it, and the pass is incomplete, and a big hit on Stephen Baker by the rookie Mark McMillan. A 10th round pick out of Alabama, and he hit hard on that play.
Well, it was a good guess by McMillan. The rookie got lucky because he gets there just at the same time as the ball did. This is slow motion, so he might look early, but he's right there. See, it looks like he got there a little early. I'm sure Baker's trying to convince some people that he got there a little early. But McMillan guessed right. See Bud Carson giving him a little congratulations on the sideline. A young guy needs that confidence.
44-yard attempt by Matt Barr, and it's long enough, and the kick is good enough. Matt Barr with his 2nd field goal of the game, strained knee and all. And the Giants lead 20-6.
Here comes Jim, in for a pit.
Jim, backyard's next.
Hey, no duels. Non-alcohol, 70 calories. Perfect. After all, the competition is pretty stiff out here.
When you want the refreshing taste of beer without the alcohol, think O'Doul's. It's what beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking.
Critics call Passenger 57 spectacular, exciting. Snipes is sensational.
You ever play roulette? On occasion. Always bet on black.
Wesley Snipes, Passenger 57, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
New Skill FlexiCharge cordless tools all share the same battery pack. So when you need a recharge, they keep on working. The FlexiCharge interchangeable power system from Skill.
True professionals know how to handle awards.
How much longer do you think you can pass yourself off as some cute little schoolgirl? As long as I'm working with you.
And maybe not. Murphy Brown, Monday.
At the Rose Bowl
Back here at Giant Stadium, Seidner and Sikahema are deep, and Willis kicking off. And it's going to be by Sikahema, who returned the last kick 41 yards, but this is a different story. And the Giants trap him inside the 15. A 14-yard return with McGriggs making the tackle. I reminder coming your way this Thursday, a football feast for you. Special holiday edition of the NFL Today. Leslie Visser will look at the resurgence of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. Then the Cowboys host their NFC East rivals, the New York Giants. So we'll fill your plates with football and fun Thursday at 3:30 Eastern Time. Not a good turnaround for the Giants.
I think Philadelphia here, Dick, has got to get something going. They're one big mistake in the first half away from us seeing Jim McMahon to get something going in the second half.
Handoff inside to Heath Sherman, the up back, and he got very little on the play. Let's see where they spot it. Corey Miller making the tackle, and they give him 4 yards after all of that. Jim McMahon.
Jimmy Mack playing with an extra knee brace on today. He's got that left knee now in a knee brace. Said when they played Green Bay, or when they played the LA Raiders in Philly, Herschel Walker ran into him and said, "I thought I tore my knee up."
Well, you don't want to go out that way. 2nd down and 6. Howard is chasing Cunningham, who takes off for the first time today and runs into a cameraman. He gets 3 yards on the play. Eagles have struggled on the road. They have lost 4 out of 5, including their last 4.
And the key thing, as far as I'm concerned, is not time of possession. It's nothing. It's right there at takeaways. If you're doing that well at home, there's no excuse you shouldn't get at least that many takeaways on the road. It really shouldn't matter for a defense where they are playing. They should be able to take, with this much talent, the ball away from an offense on a regular basis.
3rd down and 3 at the 24. Even this early, you could say this is an important 3rd down play for the Eagles, trailing 20-6. And Cunningham, not happy with the way the offense lined up, will call a timeout. The Eagles' first of this half. And 11:02 remaining in the half. We'll return to Giant Stadium after these messages.
Do you want to fly where there are no runways? Do you want to swing where no one has swung before? Or do you want to surf where there is no ocean? And get yourself a Toyota 4Runner, because where you're headed, you don't want to be driving anything less.
The tingle feels like it's taking away the dandruff. That's me taking the Denorex shampoo test. I love that tingle. It convinced me to switch from Head & Shoulders to Denorex.
Denorex with conditioners, the dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I'm a Denorex guy now.
Aspen Cologne for men. A compelling new experience for women. Aspen, now.
on XBR Squared.
Hey, look! It's the Grand Canyon!
It'll change the way you feel about everything you see. From Sony.
Thanksgiving Day, a time for joy and reflection, and the Giants play the Cowboys on CBS. Cranberries, anyone? I'm a big fan.
Back at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, this is Dick Stockton and Randy Cross. Plenty of time remaining in the first half. The Giants lead at 20-6, and the Eagles have a 3rd and 3 coming up.
And it's a big down not only for this offense, but the offense also has to prove to the Eagles defense that it can keep them off the field.
3 wide receivers, Roy Green to the left side. Now they shift Williams. Cunningham is sacked. Couldn't get away. The whistle had blown. And a loss of 4 yards. So the Eagles refuse to take the momentum in any way, shape, or form, and the Giants still have it.
Well, they're getting another blue surge going here against Randall Cunningham. There's nothing downfield for Randall to do, and there's nowhere for Randall Cunningham to go but down.
Hamilton, Marshall, and Howard. And LT's got to enjoy it, out with the torn Achilles tendon for the rest of this year, hinting that he may return after saying he would retire after this season. Now thinking that he may still want to play football. And the Giants showing a good pass rush today with 2 sacks. Jeff Feagles is back to kick from his 5. Dave Meggett, who returned a kickoff 92 yards, is back to receive. A beauty by Feagles will send Meggett back to his 25. And he is stacked up at the 33-yard line. 55-yard kick by Feagles. But the Giants get the impetus once again as the Eagles can't get out of their own territory. Well, Buffalo is having a laugher.
Whoa.
A laugher.
Whoa. We're talking some all-time records. I mean, the Atlanta defense has already given up 56 points to the 49ers. I think Buffalo's on their way to try to top that one.
Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. 3 AFC Central teams are all winning, and Green Bay. I wonder how Mike Ditka feels right now.
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to be the one to ask him.
1st and 10, Meggett on the pitch. And gets a good gain up to the 40-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards. Tackle is made by Booty and then Hopkins.
The offensive line for the Giants just going after the front of this defensive line for the Eagles. Watch Elliott and Roberts just getting the push. You know, you get the body on the body, and the blue bodies push the white bodies backwards. It's going to be like this for a long time unless these Eagles can get underneath these big guys like Jumbo Elliott.
Both Giant lines are having a terrific first half, and Meggett has scored 2 touchdowns, and he's a big part of it. Second down and 3 from the 40-yard line. Rolling out is Hostetler. He was going for McCaffrey, who has yet to catch a pass today, but Eric Allen was step for step, and now we have Hostetler shaken up.
Remember the ribs. Hostetler was 1 play away from a good shot to seeing a Kent Graham in there, but he's up and he says he's all right.
There is Graham. Rookie from Ohio State. Let's see what happened to Hostetler.
Have you ever had sore ribs? You can't breathe right without it hurting, much less somebody boloing you in the ribs right where you're injured with a helmet. Ouch.
That was Mike Golick that got the shot in. 6 for 15 for 112 yards and the TD pass to Meggett. Hostetler faces a 3rd and 3 at the 40. Out of the shotgun, and here's the blitz, and the pass is intercepted by Seth Joyner. Meggett trying to chase him, but Joyner's going to win the race, and the Eagles get an interception touchdown. 43-yard return, and it all started with a Wes Hopkins safety blitz. So Philly hangs in there with the defense.
And you're right, Dick. What set that up is the blitz coming right up the gut. Hostetler has to move, has to throw out of position across his body, and can't make the rest of that throw. But you know what impresses me? Look at Joyner go. That's Meggett chasing him, and Meggett can't catch him. In fact, Joyner pulls away.
Well,
Well, Ruzic's added a little mystery to the extra point. We'll see how he does here.
Last extra point was blocked. And this one is good. So the Eagles come back thanks to their defense with 9:35 remaining in the half, trailing by 7.
Do you know what your business would actually save on a call from New York to LA using MCI instead of AT&T? Here's your big savings. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense. If your business gives up the quality of AT&T Pro Watts and calls from Boston to Chicago with someone else, here's your big savings. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
This is your life, and not a bad one at that. You find the things that work for you, and you stick with them. Like your Toyota Extra Cab Deluxe. It has the power and the payload you need. Plus the reputation for dependability, that's a well-known fact. All the signs of a great relationship.
David Anson of Newsweek magazine hails Malcolm X as powerful, epic. Denzel Washington gives a majestic, riveting performance. Malcolm X, rated PG-13, now playing at a theater near you.
This high-performance drink cleans your fuel system to help maintain peak performance. STP Gas Treatment, the high-performance drink for your car.
Seth Joyner with the interception for a touchdown, had the knee brace off. He's had injured knees and the brace on since the 5th game of the year, but they're working on Dave Meggett, who couldn't catch Joyner's race for this touchdown.
Rubbing that heat lotion right there on the back of the leg. That's in that hamstring area. And that's the only reason I could think of is maybe the muscle pull that Meggett couldn't run down a linebacker. Because nobody tries to cover him with a linebacker. Why couldn't he catch one?
So Meggett has been replaced by Callaway. So it's Joey Smith and Chris Callaway back deep for the Giants. Roger Ruzek kicking off. And Joey Smith from the 6-yard line. Doesn't get much. And the Eagles with a good defensive play by Ephesians Bartley. Just put on the team this year when Hager went on injured reserve.
Well, we talked about the havoc that Hopkins blitz caused. Now watch Hostetler trying to throw across his body. That is a tough, tough throw, especially when a guy's being covered that closely. Now watch Meggett. Does he come up? Does he quit? Just didn't seem to have that last gear trying to chase Joyner, and keep an eye on that. Meggett's had a big impact on this game so far. If he's out, that affects this Giants offense.
Giants have a 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. A lot of turnovers, and teams have capitalized. Rodney Harris goes off the right side and is out of bounds at the 20-yard line, a gain of 2 yards. Booty was defending on the play.
Well, lost in all this, remember, Jeff Hostetler took that shot a play or two before that interception. Those ribs are hurting. And Ray Handley's got to be worried at this point about the way Bud Carson and this defense are attacking Jeff Hostetler and trying to get him out of this game.
And the Eagles mentioned that, not to hurt a player, but the idea is if you can get the starting quarterback out cleanly, why not?
Well, you saw it on NFL Today. I mean, Terry Bradshaw was talking about all the quarterbacks that haven't finished games they've started and all the different starters we've seen this year.
2nd down and 8, the Giants on their 20. 9 minutes to go in the first half. And the pass is caught. Stephen Baker with the reception, and Booty was right there. By the way, that interception and score by Seth Joyner was his first NFL touchdown. All-pro linebacker.
Now this is a situation in a down and distance that is custom made if you throw the ball, throwing it to your tight ends. And we haven't seen Giant tight ends too involved since that great win they had against the Redskins. And in talking to the Philadelphia Eagles, they're almost to the point where they're not even worried about covering the Giant tight ends. They're worried about the backs, they're worried about the receivers, but they're ignoring, I think, Cross.
Cross is spread to the left, as you see, as a slot receiver on 3rd down and 3. And There was no question that the Eagles were looking to pressure and blitz. Joyner was looking to blitz. And let's see if Philadelphia jumped off sides.
Illegal procedure prior to the snap on the
Drawn
center.
off.
Illegal snap.
By Barlow.
5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Illegal snap. That's a nice way to say it. Quiver. He just sort of quivered with the ball a little bit, and Bart tried to get himself one, or was a little confused on the snap, and the ball moved.
He saw Simmons and Joyner right in front of him, ready to charge.
1987, when I was still with San Francisco, we were supposed to play the Eagles, but that strike year, one game got canceled. Guess which game got canceled, and I didn't get to play against Reggie White in this defense. I was sick about that.
And you've regretted it ever since. Third down and 8 from the 20. 4 wide receivers for the Giants. And a delayed blitz, and Hostetler's pass incomplete. Callaway was defended by Allen, but the officials could rule that the pass was not catchable, so there is no flag on the play if there were.
Well, they were showing Jeff Hostetler a big look of a blitz, and a nice job up front by Oates and the entire line of keeping most of the pressure off until Simmons kind of dragged him down late there. But that was a case where Allen was between Callaway and the ball, and Callaway cannot go through Allen, as Allen can't go through Callaway, so that was not a penalty.
Sean Landeta will kick from inside his 10. There's Vi Sikahema. Sikahema on his 40-yard line. He's already had one terrific return, and he nearly gets this to midfield. Sikahema had a 40-yard kickoff return earlier, and it was Diassi who made the tackle. Well, the Eagles will have good field position following that 9-yard return by Sikahema.
That was almost a huge play. Watch the wall that's formed out here inside the numbers. Watch the wall Sikahema had set up. This might have been 6 points if he goes all the way outside. Watch this. Nothing but Eagles outside. Does he go outside? No, but he had 6 points if he goes out there because he only had Landeta to beat.
First and 10 for the Eagles on their 48-yard line, trailing by a touchdown. And Randall Cunningham, looking to throw, is decked back at the 40-yard line. So the Giants, with Corey Miller picking up their 3rd quarterback sack of the game, a loss of 7.
They talk about Corey Miller being the run guy and Kanavis McGee being the pass guy, and getting these confusing people going to replace Lawrence Taylor. But on that play, it was just pure pressure from the outside that Randall Cunningham had to step up into Corey Miller, 57, coming from the right here. Gets right by Heller, throws him down, and comes underneath as Cunningham tries to step up.
So it's 2nd and 17, back on the Eagle 41. And the give is to Walker. Fumbled his last time. Not this time, as he barrels forward and may get all of those yards back for an Eagle first down. Let's see where they spot the ball. Herschel Walker bursting up the middle, brought down by Mark Collins.
Nice job up front, especially over here on the right side. Watch this matchup. Dorsey being blocked by Alexander. Tries to go right. Watch Herschel cover up. Watch this. 2 hands right there. You don't think somebody hasn't reminded him at some time in the last few minutes, cover up the ball if you get in a crowd. Do not fumble again.
Fumbled twice in the last 2 weeks, so it's 3rd and 1. Heath Sherman gets a second chance, and he gets the first down. Pepper Johnson brings him down after a pickup of 3 yards. The emotional leader defensively right now.
He's the guy Hanley calls the general, and he's the man that has to make the plays. Big Antone Davis gets in his face early. That's why he wasn't able to fill. And Carl Banks did a good job on that play. Got in the backfield, but couldn't wrap Heath Sherman up around the legs.
Just under 6 minutes to go in the half. Cunningham with a first down on the Giant 40. 20-13 in favor of New York, and here's a safety blitz. It forced Cunningham to get rid of the ball in a hurry. That was Lamar McGriggs, who's a big hitter indeed.
Well, we talk about Bud Carson coming after Hostetler with his defense. How about Rod Rust? Very top, right here. Watch the blitz. Here he comes. Here comes McGriggs. That's not too much of a read and react, is it now? Defense complaining, we don't want to read and react, we want to go after him. Well, Rod went after him there and got him.
How often do players take things in their own hands contrary to what the coach prescribes?
Not real often. I think a lot of that is made up and kind of manufactured. In a lot of cases, I think it's misread. People say, you don't do that. You can't do that. You don't lapse in the NFL when you're doing your own thing.
Second down and 10. Cunningham's pass overthrown. It was intended for Barnett. Perry Williams was defending on the play. Third down coming up.
Look at Byers at tight end. We talked about him being in there. He's in there as a receiver, right? No, he's in there as a blocker. If you're going to put a talent like Keith Byers in there, throw him the doggone ball. Find a way to get the ball to Byers. Here's a big physical guy. Can be a good tight end. You're missing that mix in the middle. You got to get it to him.
He hasn't caught a pass yet. You wonder why he's in there. Third and 10. Seidner goes in motion. Cunningham gets it to Byers, who makes his first catch, and a beauty, a one-handed grab. And the Eagles will have a first down inside the Giant 30. It was Philippi Sparks and Pepper Johnson finally getting Byers.
Now here's Byers. He initially starts out as a blocker, looking for a blitz. Now he's going to try to get through, try to make something happen, help his quarterback. This isn't planned. This is something that Keith Byers just knows. When his quarterback gets in trouble and starts moving, he's got to move with him.
Broken right hand. He's not wearing the protective cast this week. First down on the 27, and the quick opener to Heath Sherman. And he is upended and fumbles. It was a fumble. Now they claim it was blown dead at the 11-yard line. It was Jackson who made the hit. And a big hit on Sherman, and picked up 16 yards, however.
We talk about how fast Heath Sherman hits the holes, and he's got that good quick. Watch this squirt. I like this. This is good, tough reactions, man on man, and let the running back make a break. The Giant defenders are what you refer to as two-gappers. A two-gapper wants to hit you in the face and then come off. The Giant defenders could not come off because Sherman hit that hole so fast.
Eagles trail by 7 and a first down on the 11-yard line. Walker bounces off one defender, and he's going to go in to score. Second touchdown of the game for Herschel Walker. First as a running back, and the Eagles are within an extra point of tying this game. What a comeback they've made.
And a big defensive mistake, not maintaining backside continuity and contain. I don't care if they slam it in backside. Corey Miller has got to stay back there so Herschel Walker can't do that. That is just a fundamental breakdown in technique.
Roger Ruzek will try to tie the game up. If he had been successful on an earlier conversion, the Eagles could be looking at a lead. It was not a good snap, but the kick is good. And we're tied at 20. This after the Giants had a 20-6 lead here in the second quarter. And that lead has evaporated thanks to Herschel Walker. 4:02 to go in the half.
Upon learning Little Caesars is offering 2 pizzas for $5.99, the mind enters 5 stages. Shock, disbelief, confusion, denial, and finally, acceptance. Now let's watch the subject registering denial again in extreme slow motion.
2 medium pizzas with cheese and pepperoni or your favorite topping, all for $5.99. It's a toozy-doozy of a deal.
Toozy-doozy.
And for $1 more, crazy bread and crazy cheese.
Tied at 20-20 with 4:02 remaining, and whoever thought this would be a low-scoring affair between teams that were going to decide who would win by based on the line.
Well, normally you might talk about NFC East and the old smash mouth baloney and all that other stuff, but these are 2 desperate teams that have to win this game, and they're playing like desperate teams. They're doing anything they can do, and in that situation, all the low scoring and all that other stuff goes out the window.
Well, they're used to playing close games here at Giant Stadium. The last 5 games between these teams have been decided by a touchdown or less. 2 of them went into overtime. Callaway on the right, and Smith On the left to receive for the Giants is Roger Ruzek. Will kick for Philadelphia. Big play for the Eagles, which started to turn the tide with Seth Joyner's interception of a Hostetler pass and his 43-yard run for a score. See what the Giants do offensively in the waning moments of this half. Joey Smith on the 7-yard line returns, runs into his own man, and a couple of nifty fakes brings it beyond the 30-yard line. James Joseph, the tackle.
You know, we talked about the contain and the technique. Watch Fox, watch Miller get caught right down in here. Enables Herschel Walker to go there and then around. Watch the backside of the defense. Corey Miller going behind Fox. You can't do that. You gotta stay backside, trying to make a play where there wasn't one to make, and you gave up a big one.
Walker has gained 34 yards rushing, 38 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns for Jared Bunch on 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Picks up a yard. William Thomas on the tackle, and Dave Meggett, who was worked on the sidelines, getting back in the game for the Giants.
If this guy can play, you know, we talked about Simmons earlier being a little banged up, and he came back in, and Meggett's got to get back in. If you can play, you got to get in there.
Mike Pitts is the shaken up Eagle. Clyde Simmons was hurt earlier, then came back into the game, but now Mike Pitts, who relieved Andy Harmon at left tackle, is being tended to on the field. The Giants had 125 yards. Total yards in the first quarter, only 12 now, and the Eagles have upped their margin.
Well, 125 yards for the Giants. I mean, I'm not being overly critical here, I don't think. It's usually a pretty good half. This is an offense that usually produces anywhere from about 230 to 250 yards a game. In fact, I think they're right around 160 or so against these guys of late when they've met this Philadelphia defense. So that's strong. But the defense has taken the offense out of the game. Bud Carson and Reggie White and Evans and Joyner have taken this offense away from the Giants.
When Pepper Johnson was saying, look, we may have to throw caution to the wind and start to blitz, the Eagles have to do the same thing, and they found themselves trailing. Wes Hopkins on a safety blitz. Joyner got the interception, and the Eagles got back in the game.
Well, what Hostetler and the offense did early was get the ball to their wide receivers, drop back and throw the ball. They had the 8 or 9 guys up, and it was working effectively, getting the man outside. Since then, the 9 men up or the 8 men up have put too much pressure on Hostetler for him to be effective.
Pitts leaves the field, and Andy Harmon, who started the game, replaces him. 3:35 remaining in the first half. The Giants have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, and they have a 2nd down and 9 coming up from their own 33. 3 wide receivers. McCaffrey in the slot, moves to the right. Hostetler is finally decked by Andy Harmon. He had Reggie White to worry about, and then Andy Harmon came in late, and basically the Eagles covered well downfield in a loss of 8 big yards.
Well, that showed you how slick this turf can get after the little rain we had earlier. Actually, in pregame, it was coming down pretty good, and Reggie White slips, goes to his knees. But even from his knees, he's a threat for a sack.
Randy, we have had 6 sacks in the game, 3 by each side. Is the defense that strong, or the offensive line's not keeping guys out?
I think the defenses are attacking that much. I don't know if they're actually that strong, but they're taking the chances and they're attacking. You've got to go now to shorter drops, quicker timing patterns, or more designed rolls to get away from that pressure.
3rd down and 17. Meggett's in the game, out of the shotgun. Spreading the defense. Hostetler can't find anyone, and down he goes again. And that'll be Clyde Simmons, shaken up earlier. And that's his first sack of the game, and number 12 on the year.
Well, this is just a case of the Giants running the receivers downfield and only keeping in 5 blockers. And 5 guys are only going to keep these 4 defensive linemen off Hostetler for so long. And with that many people covered downfield, Jeff just had to eat that one.
Well, the Eagles should get good field position as Sean Landeta gets set to kick, going back to Sikahema. And Seidner. 2:15 to go in the half. And a beauty. Landeta got off a fantastic kick. Sikahema back to his 20. And he is decked. Do not see a penalty marker down, and a clean tackle by Corey Miller following a 61-yard kick by Sean Landeta to get the Giants out of trouble.
That was darn near a decapitation. You can't even call that a tackle. Sikahema keeps going, but there's something about his upper body and head that just wants to stay back there where Corey Miller is.
Corey Miller along with Kanavis McGee, the duo, trying to fill in as best they can for LT. This may be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Eagles with a 1st and 10 on their 33. Cunningham under pressure, and the pass to Roy Green. He held on to it. He hasn't been down yet. And stops the clock after a gain of 9 yards. So our 2-minute warning with 1:58 officially remaining in the first half.
In just 45 seconds, this commercial will tell you about all the highly intelligent products from Magnavox. So that means that I have exactly 3.5 seconds to tell you about the ingenious Magnavox 27-inch TV with smart window, leaving me just 5.3 seconds to let you know how incredible this Magnavox CD radio cassette recorder sounds. Oh no, that leaves me only 4.2 seconds to tell you about the brilliant picture on this Magnavox 3-inch LCD TV. Excuse me, I've only got 6.1 seconds to tell you this Magnavox digital shelf system has a carousel CD changer. And I have 1 second to tell you, time is up. What do you mean time is up? What? We've been standing here for hours. Get my agent on the phone. Don't you know who I am? Who timed this commercial?
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
The Black & Decker Air Station. It has all the pressure you need to inflate anything. Fast. The Black & Decker Air Station. Always at your service.
Stronger than most, this umbrella. Those who carry the travelers for their insurance needs carry a solid 128-year tradition of excellence. Chosen by 50% of the Fortune 500. Backed by $53 billion in assets. Open in case you want strength and experience the traveler's way. You're better off under the umbrella.
Rod Rust is bringing his defense after Randall Cunningham. Bottom of the screen is Renee Thompson. Top of the screen, Philippi Sparks. Watch Sparks. Whoa. That'll rearrange a few ribs and rib cartilage too, as you see Randall immediately grab himself around the stomach. That's why those quarterbacks get the big bucks though, Dick.
Read and react? Hardly. By the way, the Eagles 20 points this quarter. Most points that they have scored in a quarter this season. They were trailing at one point 20-6. Defense has helped bring them back. Let's see what Cunningham and the offense does. 2nd down and 1 on the Eagles 42. Plenty of time, and here's Roy Green, and he was wide open. Pass a little behind him, but he couldn't hold on. And 1:54 showing on the clock. It'll be 3rd and 1.
And that's the kind of pass you don't expect a veteran like Roy Green to make. You don't expect him to drop it, I should say, because that thing is right there. It's not slippery. It's not too far behind him. He should have had that one.
3rd down and 1. After spreading out the offense, they tighten it up with 2 tight ends. And they give it to Heath Sherman. And he fires his way beyond the 45 for an Eagle 1st down. Eric Howard on the tackle. Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining. And they're running up to the line of scrimmage in their hurry-up offense.
Bringing the wide receivers in, Dick, to stretch it down the field.
On the 46-yard line, Cunningham gets sacked. That was Eric Howard, so there have been 8 sacks in the first half today. 4 by the Eagles and 4 by the Giants. And a timeout is called by Philadelphia.
Randall cringing a little bit there. Wanted to go downfield. Wanted to get it to Roy Green over the middle of the defense. Almost pulled the trigger. but didn't. I don't know why, but Eric Howard was there to convince them maybe he should have thrown that ball. Watch Howard get in here, right there. Ooh, form tackle. Good one. We talk about Byers. What's he been doing? He's been at tight end. He's been blocking, trying to get out, and Pepper says, I don't think so. That's a little good contact within that 5-yard rule by Pepper.
Eric Howard with his first quarterback sack of the season. I want to remind you that coming up on the NFL Today halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights from today's NFL action. From the looks of things, a good thing for the AFC Central Division clubs, and Buffalo really putting it to Atlanta, and Green Bay and Chicago. You'll get all of that coming up with Terry and Greg momentarily. Second down and 19. Out of the shotgun again is Randall Cunningham. Here comes some pressure on him, and the pass intended for Barnett, and Barnett makes the catch. Perry Williams had outrun Barnett, and Barnett came back and made the catch, kept both feet in bounds, and a first down after a 33-yard gain. Eagles have 1 timeout left.
If you're going to huddle, you make it a quick huddle, but watch this throw right behind him. His feet, are they in, and what comes down first? He's got the catch. Feet were down. That was not his posterior that landed first. That would have made that a non-catch.
And we have a stoppage.
I think it's more confusion than stoppage here. It's a log jam. I know they're talking awful rough to Mr. Hantek there in the white hat.
They ought to stoppage this confusion.
Please return the game clock to read. 1 minute and 22 seconds.
Ray Handley's Giants with a comfortable early lead, but against the Eagles defense, no such thing as comfortable. They adjust the clock to 1:22. Eagles have 1 timeout left, trying to get into field goal range. Longest field goal this year for Ruzek was 50 yards.
Well, they're in Ruzek's field goal range. The only problem is if he yanks an extra point, what's he going to do to a field goal? They need to get at least 10 yards closer.
First and 10 on the 30 of the Giants. Cunningham looking to take off, and he's going to get the 10 yards. He gets to the 20. He'll get a first down as well, with Pete Hamilton from behind making the tackle.
I think you jam this one into the ground, or you go into the end zone. Either or.
Crowd, which had been so excited earlier, been quieted down. Cunningham's pass to Roy Green, and he couldn't hold on. Jackson was covering on the play. A zinger thrown by Randall Cunningham.
He dropped that ball in perfectly. That is a vintage Randall Cunningham throw. Throwing the ball into one of those spots where people say, well, maybe it doesn't belong, but when you got an arm like Randall, you can do it. He gets it there. Green thought it was blocked, it looked like. And just at the last second took his eyes off the ball because Jackson did not get a hand on that pass.
Second down and 10. The Eagles are at the Giant 19. And a fake, and the give is to Byers, who gets tripped up. And it was Leonard Marshall who tripped him up from behind. It was a fake, and they went to the short man, in this case Byers, in a gain of only 1 on a trick play attempt.
Little quick snaps directly to the running back. Didn't fool anybody. Nice job by Leonard Marshall backside.
Here goes Cunningham, rolling out, going into the end zone, and the pass is maybe intercepted by the Giants, and it is by Mark Collins. Ill-advised throw by Randall Cunningham, knowing the Eagles were set up for a field goal. Jeff Seidner was the intended receiver.
Look at this, trying for the block, and after you try for the block of the pass, you get lucky and it comes back down to you. You get yourself a pick. And that was a 3-point interception by Randall Cunningham, because Ruzek would have made that field goal, I believe. But just a great play by Collins. Collins positioned himself just perfectly and wasn't about to let that ball get by him.
First interception of the year for Mark Collins. And the Giants avoid a situation where the Eagles were set up to possibly take the lead, and they have a first down on the 20 with 26 seconds to go. Here is Hampton on the inside handoff, and Rodney Hampton fights it out for the first down. A 14-yard pickup. That was Mike Golick on the tackle. And the clock stops with 16 seconds to go and a timeout call by the Giants.
Well, turnabout's fair play, Dick. They added time on the clock when Philadelphia had the ball. Now they're kicking the clock back up to 20 seconds for the Giants.
So the Giants now with 2 timeouts remaining, but the big story is the clock working for them, 20 seconds or against them as they try to get into field goal range. They're on the 34.
That's a very important play, Dick, gaining that kind of yardage. Now Jeff Hostetler and this offense can try to move the ball down the field, and they don't have to get their guys out of bounds. They have 2 timeouts, but let's look at this realistically. They've got to get about 30 yards to get at the outside of Barr's field goal range. Maybe Willis can pop it in there a little bit further. Remember, Willis is here, and he's got a stronger leg than Barr.
Of course, the Giants have to call, if all of this works, a timeout as quickly as possible. How many times do you see the big pass and then about 7 or 8 seconds tick off before they finally get the stoppage of the clock?
Well, 20 seconds, even with 2 good 7-step drops, gives you 2 plays and a field goal if you execute properly.
There is Willis, former Cowboy and Tampa Bay Buccaneer kicker. Signed on Friday, and Barr, who has already kicked 2 field goals for the Giants, including a 44-yard kick. First down on the 34. Clock is the key here. Hostetler's pass to Hampton out of the backfield. And Hampton gets to about the 48-yard line. The Giants will call a timeout with 12 seconds remaining as Booty and Jenkins combine to stop Hampton after a pickup of 14.
That leaves you at least one more play like that. If you can get another 20 yards or so, you're going to be looking at about a 51, 52-yard field goal.
Looking at Willis with Tampa Bay this season, he was 8 for 14 as a field goal kicker, and his longest was 45 yards. That's what he had done with the Buccaneers earlier this year.
And that's why he's no longer with the Buccaneers, and he was available to be picked up. Got off to a bad start. Remember, Willis is a guy that everybody loved at Dallas. Plan B decided to go to Tampa Bay and fell out of favor pretty quickly there in Tampa, and that's sort of the fate of the kicker. Things don't go well. I think it was Matt Barr that said kickers are the kind of guys that check the transactions wire all the time and try to figure out whose apartment they're going to try to steal.
Or at least rent.
Oh, stealing them.
There's Bud Carson directing his defense. It'll be a first down for the Giants on their 48-yard line. There's Barr with the jacket on. Willis limbering up. He apparently would be the man if the Giants can get to that point. 12 seconds remaining in the first half. Eagles in a prevent defense here. Hostetler loses the ball. And it's all going to be a moot point as the clock stops with 2 seconds to go, and the Eagles have recovered the fumble. Reggie White knocked the ball away from Hostetler, and it was Eric Allen, the cornerback, who picked it up, and so the Eagles have actually a play with 2 seconds to go.
And it'll be an opportunity for Randall Cunningham to test his arm and chuck it down into the end zone. But one more time here, you know, Hostetler just doesn't have anybody to go to. It's not a case of the line not blocking well. Reggie White just eventually got in there after at least a full 3.5, 4 seconds, and that's all a quarterback can ask for, is that kind of protection.
We have had 9 sacks already in this first half and 5 turnovers in a wild first half, which the Eagles have come back to tie the game, and now with one last shot, Giants and 3 men deep. And here is Cunningham. He's got Barnett. He's got, and the pass is intercepted, I believe. And it is by Perry Williams. So the Giants with 2 interceptions in the end zone in the final minutes of this first half in a wild, unpredictable half at Giants Stadium. And that is the end of the first half with the score, the Philadelphia Eagles 20 and the New York Giants 20.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. And by The Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
As a lawyer, I know that people want the law to ensure their protection and security. As a United Way volunteer, I've seen that we all want that same protection and security for our family. I want you to meet my family. This is my family, my wife Michelle, and our sons Derek and Zach. When I'm not practicing law, I'm the center for the New York Giants. I'm Bart Oates, and my faith and my family are the most important values in my life. That's why I support the work of the United Way here in the tri-state area. I've seen United Way volunteer leaders working to ensure that your contributions help children and their families get the vital services they need. There are hundreds of agencies and programs, and they need your help now. Your local United Way is helping where help is needed most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
I was going to build a deck. These prices? Now I'm thinking gazebo too.
I told the checkout lady it's marked $14. I'm only going to pay $14. She said, that's right.
I got this $55 drill for $32. They say it's right. I say it's a fluke.
Eckinger now has the lowest prices on the items you want most, guaranteed.
Did you see my husband around here?
I want to climb a mountain, but I don't live there. I need a four-wheel drive vehicle I can use everywhere. I own ripped jeans and a tux. I have to go to the office, the opera, and even off-road in the same car. I have to be able to go out for a gallon of milk when it's snowing, but a station wagon, that's not me. I need to see style, sense power, feel quality, and I don't want to mortgage my house to get it. So, what do you got?
The Nissan Pathfinder Special Lease Program starting at $299 a month. Nissan, it's time to expect more from a car.
Get guaranteed low prices on the season's best selection of great gifts now at Circuit City. Save on this Zenith 19-inch TV, just $187.97. This Sharp VCR with remote, now $179.97. This RCA 5-disc CD changer, now $147.97. And this Uniden cordless phone, just $39.97. Unbeatable low prices now at Circuit City.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state of the art.
The NFL Today Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
Welcome back to our studios, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. Halftime of the game you're watching between the Eagles and the Giants. It's a 20-20 tie, and we talked a little bit in the pregame show about how the Giants would approach that Eagle offense. What have they done on defense?
Well, Greg, we said what the Giants wanted to do. They wanted to be aggressive. You get aggressive, what you do is normally you blitz. Now you get a quarterback like Cunningham, who has struggled the last few weeks. You want to blitz him. Don't let him get his confidence. There's Cunningham. There's McGriggs, Lamar McGriggs right there, and there's a safety. If I'm a quarterback, I see that safety over that tight end, I say, whoa, blitz. I'm going to take Herschel. Herschel, you block McGriggs, okay? All right, Herschel, you get him. Nice try, Herschel. Now I get Eric Howard, my nose tackle, because I know Herschel can't block. I say, get in there and get him, Howard. There's your sack in the pocket. Now, okay, we blitzed him. We got him in the pocket, but now the Eagles are too smart. Cunningham can run. Watch this. Now you're in the shotgun, so don't stand in the pocket. Get out here wide. There you go. What do you want to do? Now you run. Now you throw. People come up in your face. You pull up. You spot Barnett down the middle. You get yourself 30 yards. You blitz me. You sack me. I say, well, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm going to get outside with this great kid and let him run or pass and do what he wants to do. That nullifies the blitz. That's what the Eagles have done. But the good part is the Giants have blitzed. They've been aggressive. It's a good football game.
Yeah, Randall Cunningham for the first half, 7 of 16, 122 yards. He's been intercepted 3 times and sacked 4 times in a 2020 game. At Buffalo, halftime, the Bills leading the Falcons by a 38-7 score. Bills jumped out to a 38-0 lead. Jim Kelly, 15-yard touchdown pass to Andre Reed. And then Kenneth Davis, who is having a great afternoon already.
How many yards, Greg? 140?
147.
Yeah, way to go. Look at this. Down the field, this guy's a Plan B acquisition. Went to TCU. Norman Bullock is old school. There he goes. Boy, they're running the football, they're throwing the football. The Bills are a hot football team.
And then it was a 38-0 lead until just before halftime when Deion Sanders was on the tail end of this double lateral. Thornton to Jones to Deion, who kicks it into gear. And it's not much of a contest when it's Deion against the kickoff guy.
Steve Christie, he plays with him. I mean, this is really bad here. Look at Christie. He's just, I'm going to get you. And Deion says, not hardly.
Thurman Thomas and Kenneth Davis each over 100 yards rushing in the first half, 38-7 Bills. At Miami, they've gone to the third quarter. The Dolphins trailing Houston 13-10. Cody Carlson and Dan Marino each a touchdown pass in that game. At Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, the Steelers 13-0 lead on the Colts. Barry Foster over 100 yards for the 8th time this season. At Minnesota, 13-0 Cleveland. In the first half, Sean Salisbury has come on in relief of Rich Gannon at quarterback to start the second half. Gannon was 5 of 11, 24 yards with 2 interceptions. And what do you hear on Bernie Kosar, who's coming back from the broken ankle?
Craig, what you can look for is look for Wednesday to come around and look for Bernie Kosar to go in and ask for his starting job back. Mike Tomczak has done an outstanding job. Hey, you know, if Tomczak would get cut in Cleveland, you got to think Green Bay'd kind of like to have him back, wouldn't you?
You bet. Cleveland has turned the ball over or has taken advantage of 3 turnovers and scored 10 points in the first half. At Soldier Field in Chicago, Packers leading the Bears 10-3 in the third. Brett Favre, a 49-yard touchdown pass to Sterling Sharp for the only touchdown there. And in Cincinnati, Barry Sanders, 102 yards rushing in the first half to become the Lions' all-time leader in rushing. He passes Billy Sims, 9-6 Lions in the third quarter. Well, as we approach Thanksgiving Day, we want to pause and update a story that's turned from tragedy to inspiration over the past 12 months. The story is Mike Utley's slow recovery from a paralyzing spinal cord injury, and the inspiration is something we can all share. It was a year ago this week against the Rams when Utley suffered his injury. The doctors said it would take a miracle for him to regain feeling and movement in his legs. Well, maybe miracles are the product of hard work. Utley's got some feeling back in his legs, and he can wiggle his toes. And Mike Utley has a goal: to return to the football field one final time and leave it, this time under his own terms.
I will wheel on the field one day in a chair, and I will walk off. I don't care if I'm in crutches. I don't care if I'm in a walker, cane. I don't care. I will walk off the football field one day. Now, tomorrow, who knows? A year from now, I don't care when, but I will do it.
Mike Utley making the holiday feeling just a little bit better. A reminder, include us in your holiday plans this Thursday. Terry and I will have a special holiday edition of the NFL Today at 3:30 Eastern Time with a look at the Dallas Cowboys' re-emergence as America's team. And then we'll see those Cowboys in action against the Giants at Texas Stadium. And that'll do it for us here at halftime. We will take a time out here and then send you back to the stadium. Your game you're watching here on CBS.
Woody Allen says he didn't do it. Mia Farrow says he did. Woody tells his story to Steve Kroft tonight on 60 Minutes.
This week, CBS is declaring Tuesday Lethal Tuesday. It's 2 times the action. Come on.
No.
Back to my place. 2 times the fun.
Shouldn't I have a gun?
No! Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, Joe Pesci. Sometimes I just go nuts like now. Lethal Weapon 2.
Hey, hit me.
Good. Tuesday.
This is CBS.
Bert sells balloons. Bob sells balloons. Bert sells wacky gifts. Bob sells wacky gifts. Bert delivers. Bob delivers. So if Bob's got everything Bert's got, why is Bert busy and Bob not? Now, do you suppose Bert's got a big color ad in the book 9 out of 10 people use? The genuine New Jersey Belle Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
What is the true luxury of owning an Infiniti G20? A luxurious interior? Superior handling? Or when you run out of gas in the middle of nowhere, Infiniti will go to extraordinary lengths to help you. The G20 Total Ownership Experience from Infiniti.
It's Macy's Spectacular Thanksgiving Sale. Save 20 to 50% on fine china, crystal, and flatware. 50% on tools of the trade cookware. Sony's 5 CD remote shelf system, just $4.99. Battenberg lace and damask formal tablecloths, $29.99. It's sensational savings and great values throughout the store. Macy's Thanksgiving sale, now through Wednesday.
What's in the air you breathe at work? It could make you sick. Monday night.
Eagles and Giants tied at 20, and halftime activities will continue after this message. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
In Europe, things happen on time, right on schedule. Punctuality is the norm, and that makes Europe the ideal environment for UPS. Fact is, UPS has built the most comprehensive delivery network in Europe. So when you have a shipment going there that has to be on time, use the delivery company whose punctuality is a time-honored tradition. UPS. We run the tightest ship in Europe.
He swears another man's wife is his.
Your wife has been dead for 7 years. He's crazy.
Jacqueline Smith, Christopher Reeve, Nightmare on the Daylight, tonight.
Check out who's on Evening Shade this Monday.
And action!
Join us Monday night when our special guest will be the losingest football coach in America.
Coach Wood Newton of Evening Shade.
I thought you said they were your friends.
I thought they were.
Terry Bradshaw and Greg Gumbel guest on Evening Shade Monday.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers, the best hamburgers and a whole lot more. And by DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. DeskJet printers. Make it happen.
Wild game at Giant Stadium, all tied at 20-20. We have had 9 quarterback sacks, 6 turnovers. A 92-yard kickoff return. When we get through it all, Randy, what have we seen and what can we see in the second half?
I think, Dick, what you look at is you have 2 teams here that know how desperate their situations are. They're making mistakes, and they're saying the heck with the mistakes. We're seeing a defense in the Giants defense that's been criticized, and their leader, Rod Rust, for being read and react. And they're blitzing and going after Randall Cunningham. And you got an offense in Jeff Hostetler and the Giants that I think is taking some chances, taking an awful lot of shots. And I think if there's more mistakes to be made, that's the side of the ball it's going to come on.
Pepper Johnson was right. This is a street-yard game, and you have to adjust accordingly. Here are the halftime statistics. Philadelphia has been able to rush. The Giants have been able to pass. But the points off of turnovers and the sacks allowed, this is a wild, and I would have to say, entertaining game so far.
It really is. I think you have to loosen these quarterbacks up. You can't make them stand back there and be just targets for this pass rush. You've got to take shorter drops, and you've got to get your quarterback out of the pocket. If not, one of these guys isn't going to finish this game.
Ken Willis will kick off for the Giants by Sikahema. The return for the Eagles. Starts from his 6-yard line. What nifty running by Sikahema. Well, he went through about 4 or 5 defenders with some good moves, and it took Corey Raymond to bring him down after a return of 38 yards. Sikahema had a kickoff return of 41 yards in the first half.
Now this is called weaving your way through a return. Getting some good blocking. Gets one there by Selby. But otherwise, well, he almost makes Willis hurt himself. Gives him that little, that's why kickers don't get any more than one little bar on their face mask, because people figure they're not going to be around too much to make tackles. Why give it to them?
First down for the Eagles on their 45-yard line. Randall Cunningham gives to Heath Sherman, who comes left. And Sherman with a good gain on first down. Appears to have a Philadelphia first down.
I don't know why you don't contain on that side. I realize both guys get paid, and sooner or later somebody gets an edge. But watch Canavis McGee, 96 on the outside. Maintain the contain. You can't let a little receiver in Williams hook you like that. And if he does hook you, you got to throw him off and get away.
Heath Sherman, who came into the game averaging 6.6 yards a carry, making the most of his starting assignment today. First down on the 44-yard line, but this time he is dropped immediately by Eric Dorsey. And a loss of a couple.
Look at all the guys up at the line of scrimmage. We talked about the Eagles being able to run the ball in the first half. Look at that. 8 guys up front, and they're going for the run anyway. And Dorsey, a nice inside rip on that play, got through clean on Sherman.
Second down and 12 on the 46-yard line of the Giants, tied at 20. Cunningham out to the flat.
Get him out.
And knocked out of bounds. Calvin Williams. An 8-yard pickup for Williams, who has been ignored in this game thus far.
And on that pass play, it was a short little semi-roll by Randall Cunningham. Didn't stand straight back behind the center. Got a little round to the right there. And stuff like that keeps the defensive line and the linebackers really guessing. And I think keeps your quarterback a lot safer than just standing back there with a bullseye on his chest.
Extra wide receivers for the Eagles. Jeff Seidner and Roy Green are in there. 3 to the right side by Sikahema. In the slot, third down and 4. Cunningham running up the middle, and he flips it to Byers. He made the catch, and Byers to the 20, 10-yard line, and Byers will go in for the touchdown. And the Eagles lead for the first time in the game on a 38-yard touchdown reception, mostly run by Keith Byers.
Watch Keith Byers step up and challenge the blitz. Challenges Corey Miller, then comes off, and a great job by Randall Cunningham. You don't teach that. That's something a quarterback like Cunningham can do. He just makes something happen. And that's as good an illustration as any of what Pepper Johnson was talking about Randall Cunningham, just going to the sand lot and pulling something out of his back pocket.
Keith Byers' longest touchdown, or longest reception of that matter, of the season. Roger Ruzek, who missed a conversion earlier, makes good. And so the Eagles, who at one point were trailing 20-6, now lead 27-20.
Slowing down, that ain't you. No, that's not you. Easy drinking beer, that silver bullet smooth. Know where it's coming from, setting the mood. The pure taste of the Rockies and silver bullet smooth. Make the move, Coors Lights, it's silver bullet smooth.
You're about to see a side of Ranger you never expected. Now, all that famous Ford Ranger muscle comes in a body no one can resist. Introducing the '93 Ford Ranger.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
Ranger is how tough looks today.
Ever since the 50s, I love to make patty melts, except I made them special.
Hey, Dave, make me one of those swell patty melts, but make it square, man. Okie dokie.
I made them with a quarter pound of fresh beef, sauteed onions, 2 slices of Swiss with my own sauce. They're neato.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Lorraine.
Introducing the Wendy Melt. It's a 50s thing.
Man, if I had a pair of peg pants and a flat top, it'd be 1954 all over again.
Coming up next, CBS Sports presents final round coverage of the Franklin Funds Shark Shootout, hosted by Greg Norman from the Sherwood Country Club in Thousand Oaks, California. The team of Chip Beck and Ben Crenshaw lead this multi-format competition, which features a scramble in today's round. Coming up next on CBS Sports, and we've had a scramble by both teams today, but Randy, the Philadelphia Eagles have 21 unanswered points to take a lead of 27-20.
Well, if you're a purist, you look at this game and you go, this is kind of ugly. But all this game has done is proven that these two teams really think they got to win the game and are doing anything they can. They're making things happen. Kickoff returns, punt returns, and a great little flip pass by Cunningham for that last touchdown to Byers.
Giants had won 3 in a row till the Denver disaster. The Eagles have won 7 of their last 8 against the Giants, and they have struggled since going 4-0. Kick is returned by Joey Smith. And Joey Smith brings it out to about the 27-yard line. 24-yard return. Average yards on first down. People will tell you, forget about third down. What do you do on first down?
That's extremely important, and the emphasis on important is for the New York Giants to be averaging 5.8. That puts a quarterback in Jeff Hostetler in a good position at 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. If he can have that, he feels a lot safer against this defense. But a lot of that has to do with the guys up front and how they're blocking that defensive line.
Hostetler 8 for 19 for 131 yards in the first half with 1 TD and 1 interception. He'll go to the air on first down here, looking for somebody, and finally going to Howard Cross for a meager, if any kind of a gain. And it was Rich Miano, the strong safety, who was right with him. Give him a 2-yard gain.
And give the offensive line for the Giants an attaboy. Because, boy, do they get these guys blocked. Look at all the time he's got. Harmon gets in there real late and tries to take his shoelaces off and can't drag him down. But if they can get that kind of protection for Hostetler, he's got to be able to pop a big play guy like a Meggett or Baker loose.
You know, they've been playing the wide receiver single coverage. 2nd down and 8 at the 29, and Meggett is in the lineup. And he gets the call on the draw play. Dave Meggett close to a Giant first down. Andy Harmon making the tackle on Meggett, who scored 2 touchdowns in the first half.
And as much time as number 30 can spend on the field as possible for the New York Giants, their chances of doing better increase exponentially. He has got to be on the foot. Got to be on. You like that word, huh, Dick?
Boy, I tell you, UCLA, they taught you a lot over there, huh?
They came back last night.
That was a thrilling game with a victory over SC. Hats off to your Bruins. Giants got a first down, and they're on their 37-yard line. 3.5 minutes going by in the third quarter. Giants trailing for the first time today. Rodney Hampton. Well, the Eagles very tough against the run. Came in 3rd in the conference in rushing defense, and Hampton is stopped after a 3-yard gain by Mike Golick.
And this is a defense whose pride is a little bit tested at this point. They gave up 410 yards last week to the to the Packers, and today so far, these Giants, they've battered Hostetler, they've knocked him around, they've hit him, but this Giants offense has managed to move the ball against this defense.
Simmons with the foot injury. X-rays, by the way, taken were negative. Giants with 2nd down and 7 on their 40. Mike Flores has been in for Simmons in this series, and the pass incomplete. Cross was the man they wanted to go to, and Rich Miano was covering on the play. Miano was the player who told us yesterday about the pride and how bad they felt in giving up 410 yards on a Bud Carson coach defense.
Exactly. You saw Miano's reaction as Howard Cross was begging to the referee on that one. He says, "Hey, go back to the huddle. Shut up. Get out of here." Yeah, that was an interference. But, Miano did say that Bud Carson was one of the reasons he thought this Philadelphia defense would come out tough and aggressive and nasty, is they want to defend the pride of Bud Carson and show that his defense can do it.
3rd down and 7 is showing blitz and a stunt up the middle, and Hostetler leading the receiver. He was going for Callaway downfield, and Eric Allen was covering on the play. Reggie White on a stunt came up the middle on Hostetler, so the Giants will have to kick it away to the Eagles, who have forged in front here early in the third quarter.
I'd say if you play quarterback against the Philadelphia Eagles, for a couple days after the game, you see somebody in any color of green, you got to flinch. Because these guys put helmets on quarterbacks. Last week they didn't against Favre and the Packers, but they're getting all over Hostetler.
And a block kick. The Eagles could get a touchdown out of this. And they do. Ken Rose blocked the kick, and the Eagles get another defensive touchdown. This is a special team score. And we haven't seen Rich Kotite with a smile on his face in I don't know how many weeks.
And in case you can't tell, that face isn't smiling. That was a blow in the middle of that punt team. We have seen absolutely unexcusably atrocious special teams play today, and that is just a terrible blow for Ray Handley and these Giants.
Giants dominated the early going, but Roger Ruzek getting set to kick the extra point has silenced this Giant crowd looking for an upset. And 28 unanswered points for the Philadelphia Eagles, sparked by their defense and special teams. It is now 34-20.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
You're right. Ford does build in toughness. But we also build in things that help you drive safely. Four-wheel anti-lock brakes are standard on Explorer and Bronco.
Built-in child seats are available on Aerostar, and both Aerostar and Clubwagon offer driver-side airbags. Ford builds tough trucks.
But we also build long-term relationships.
The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Here, there, everywhere. The DeskJet Portable. DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. Make it happen.
I told you Kmart would have antifreeze. Prestone will even send you $1.50 back.
I hope my mailman uses this.
Why?
Because I don't want his truck to break down when he's delivering my $1.50 rebate.
Do you think my husband would like this wet, dry vacuum for his workshop?
The 6-gallon shop vac?
Uh-huh.
Well, is he messy, very messy, or extremely messy?
Yes.
This is perfect. Let's tell Mom and Dad to buy our Christmas presents here. They'll save a lot.
I hope they appreciate us.
Here, there, everywhere. The DeskJet Portable. DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. Make it happen.
Golf's greatest compete, but watch out! There's a shark in the water. The Franklin Fun Shark Shootout continues on CBS Sports.
Here's Corey Miller, and here's Rose. Watch this effort. You heard about a lookout block on a quarterback? Corey Miller just put a lookout block on his punter, and Rose just smothered that thing. He was all over that ball. Landeta never had a shot.
And that's the first punt block for a touchdown for the Eagles in 8 years, and the last time they managed to do it was against the Giants in the first game of the season back in 1984. Ken Rose, who played in the Canadian League, the USFL, he was a Jets replacement player during the strike, and then later played with the Jets and the Cleveland Browns. So now the Giants trailing 34-20. Dave Meggett is back there along with Joey Smith. Smith returning, and he is hit at the 24. Well, the dreaded double thud we're about to hear on the block.
Close your eyes. That is a sound like no other in football. You don't need a picture for that one.
Ken Rose, who played at UNLV, actually was a teammate of Randall Cunningham in college, and came in today as the fourth linebacker with Britt Hager on injured reserve, and makes a big block and a touchdown to give the Eagles a 34-20 lead. See how the Giants come back here as they start from their 24. Hostetler, Jared Bunch can't hold on. He was covered by Byron Evans.
And this is attack time for this Philadelphia defense so far, going after Jeff Hostetler. They have got to come after him. They've done a pretty good job so far. Look at that, 15 times he's had to get out of the pocket. He's been hit 7. I got to contend with that one. I mean, he's been hit a lot more than that. He's going to look like somebody took a load of buckshot and peppered him with it tomorrow. He's going to have so many little welts on his body.
Reggie White has 3.5 of those 5 sacks for the Eagles. Second down and 10. To Meggett, stopped cold by Byron Evans, and a loss of 2, and you can just feel how the Philadelphia Eagles defense and special teams have come and really taken the wind out of the Giant sails.
The Giant coaches knew this defense couldn't stay asleep too long. They just hoped today wouldn't be the day. Well, today might not have been the day, but Bud Carson's defense, when they get on top of you, there is not another defense in football you want to play against less than these guys, because they will come humming. They'll bring everybody. And even in a nickel situation, that doesn't mean drop and pass. That means get at them.
They've lost 4 in a row on the road. They want to break that streak. It'll be 3rd down and 11 out of the shotgun. Jeff Hostetler headed for another sack, but he gets it away to Meggett. And close to the first down, Seth Joyner making the tackle, and Meggett got it away, or Hostetler, just in the nick of time. They're short of the first down. Let's see. Going to measure.
Nice job. You know Hostetler can't see this rush coming from the backside. He can't see Golick, but he can feel him. And he just does get this away. How much more of this can Hostetler and these bruised ribs take? I don't know.
It is a first down for the Giants. So he just got it away, and Meggett got the first down on the 35 of New York. Hostetler is going deep. He's got Joey Smith downfield, but Booty covering all the way. And right now for an update on the Packers and the Bears, here's Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Dick, the Packers picked off a pass by Jim Harbaugh. Brett Favre converts with a 5-yard touchdown run. Peter Tom Willis now in at quarterback for Chicago, who trailed Green Bay 17-3 in the 4th, Dick.
Randy, a sense that the Packers are coming on?
Well, the Packers are playing well. Mike Holmgren's doing a good job with the offense. And something that gets overlooked a lot of times when you have those supposed like kind of dink and dunk high-tech offenses is the job that your defensive coaches do. And Ray Rhodes has done a fine job there with some questionable in spots personnel.
Also a former 49er assistant. 2nd and 10 on the 35. Tommy Jeter in on the defensive line for the Eagles. Hostetler's pass bounces in front of Baker, and Haas took another hit.
Took a hit. He got enveloped. He's going to get up because he's tough, but you watch why he has every right to stay on the ground as you hear the flying Walindas? Well, there's the flying White. Just over the top, over the head. That's when you have one bad rib and suddenly feels like you have about 12 bad ribs.
3.5 sacks for Reggie White. Waiting in the wings is Kent Graham, the rookie from Ohio State.
And he's got to watch the assault this defense is putting on Jeff Hostetler, and sort of in the back of his mind say, well, Jeff, stay out there as long as you can.
I don't want to make my reappearance so fast. 3rd and 10 from the 35, and the pass dumped off to Meggett, overthrown. That'll bring up 4th down. Flores and Meggett talking to each other.
You know, Dick, you got a guy like Reggie White, 3.5 sacks. He's coming after your quarterback. What do? You get desperate. And for a lineman, getting desperate is throwing a cut block. Because I tell you what, I know it was a little flip and it was a little screen, but if Riesenberg misses White right there, Reggie White would plant Jeff Hostetler somewhere in that blue wall on the far side.
Landeta will kick, and Sikahema is back deep. Hostetler is 2 for 8 passing-wise here in the second half. And the Giant offense seems to be out of sync. A beauty by Landeta. Sikahema returning from inside the 15-yard line, and he's going to get a good return. The only man to beat was the kicker, Landeta, and Sikahema will go all the way for a touchdown with no penalty markers down. And a little work on the heavy bag by Sikahema. An 87-yard punt return, and Landeta is shaken up at midfield. And the roof is caved in on the Giants here in the second half.
And there was a lot of frustration for this whole Eagle team and what Sikahema did at the end there to that goalpost, and what this Eagle defense is doing to the Giants right now on the offensive side. Good blocks. Watch Sean Landeta coming in here. Got a little high-speed wobble on his leg. You got to worry about a joint when that happens. But Sikahema just brings it just fast enough to get in there without any problems. Now watch what he does to the goalpost. You don't think there's not a little frustration there? Yes, 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 yes. He drops that left. You notice though when he brings that right in there, that overhand right would have got him, I think.
Eddie Futch will straighten him out. Sikahema with an 87-yard punt return for a score. Earlier returned to kickoff 41 yards. Meggett with a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. A wild game, but all the wildness lately has been done by the men in white. And another bad chapter for the Giants as Sean Landeta will be taken off on the cart.
And remember, the Giants came in with their regular kicker, Barr, hurting, so they signed Willis. And now their punter goes down and is being taken off from the cart. Watch him as he goes down. Right side of the screen. This is AstroTurf. See that? See, that's his right leg. That right leg seemed to catch up right before. Ouch.
So on a day when the Giants activate 2 place kickers, their punter goes down. And he had been punting exceptionally in recent weeks. For Sikahema, that is his 4th punt return for a touchdown in his career and the first since 1987 with the Cardinals. And not only did Sikahema have good reason to celebrate, it is the longest punt return in Philadelphia Eagles history.
As you mentioned, Dick, Sean Landeta was having a great last couple of weeks punting the ball. One of the best kickers in the last 10 years, I think, in the NFL. A guy that can boom it. You see, it's his left knee that he's having the problems with.
Roger Ruzek aboard with 7:59 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the kick is blocked. So Ruzek has 2 extra points blocked today. The first one really hurt the Eagles. This one not as much, as Philadelphia will have to be content with a 20-point lead.
Presenting the RCA 52-inch projection screen home theater. It's bigger and brighter than almost anything out there.
All 4 Escort LX models equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, power steering, and more now share the same low price of just $10,499. 4 Escorts, 1 price. It's that easy.
David Anson of Newsweek magazine hails Malcolm X as powerful, epic. Denzel Washington gives a majestic, riveting performance. Malcolm X, rated PG-13, now playing at a theater near you.
A dozen of the Argyle socks and the striped shirt.
I admire a guy who knows what he wants.
I'll take the polka dot tie as well.
Not the way I would go, but a bold choice. This guy's a doer.
Here you go.
We prefer this one. What? You pick the clothes, he picks the card? Who's doing the preferring around here? Stick with the American Express card. No interest, no revolving debt.
I prefer this one. And I prefer that tie.
Now that's more like it. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
A family caught in a deadly inferno.
Oh my God. They're not gonna come out.
Can their neighbors overcome this fiery death trap and save them? Rescue 911 Tuesday.
Well, Dick, you were right about the block part, but it wasn't the Giants. It's the holder, Jeff Feagles. Watch this. He's got his hand in front of the ball. Little slight detail. They have a few edges. Look at it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, whose story do you think they're going to believe at this point? The holder or the kicker? The kicker's got a version. The holder's got a version. I don't know, boys. An awful lot of smiling going on the sideline on that action. I don't see anything too funny to smile about at this point.
Eagles have not had the ball since 13:09 of the 3rd quarter, and yet they have scored 13 points. Here's Ruzek's kick, and it's Joey Smith on the return. And he brings it out to the 30-yard line, a return of 25 yards. A reminder that coming your way this Thursday, we've got a football feast that begins at 3:30 Eastern with a special holiday edition of the NFL Today, featuring a look at the resurgence of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team, plus other Thanksgiving surprises. And then the Cowboys host their NFC East rivals, these Giants. So we'll fill your plates with football Thursday at 3:30 Eastern. How do you think the Giants will feel with a short week going to Dallas?
Against that Dallas defense, they think Philadelphia's going to attack them. Wait till they see Charles Haley.
First down for the Giants on the 30-yard line. Jeff Hostetler's pass to McCaffrey, and he makes a fine catch, reaching in. And Hostetler is hit, maybe hurt this time. He has taken a beating. And remember, he came in with tender ribs. And he's not moving. So Kent Graham on the sideline is going to start to throw. There he is, number 10.
Watch the inside stunt come free. Golick comes underneath the stunt outside by Reggie White. Under the chin and to the ground. That does not look like a bad hit, ladies and gentlemen. But there's a thing in sports known as cumulative trauma. And that's not getting hit once. That's like in a fight where a guy gets hit 20 times normally, and suddenly the 21st punch isn't a spectacular punch, but the rest of them take their toll.
He was taken off the cart in Denver in the fourth quarter.
Right in the chin. Right under the chin with the helmet. My guess would be that has nothing to do with his ribs and a lot to do with his head.
So Kent Graham, number 8 draft pick out of Ohio State, working on the sidelines is Hostetler, slowly moving.
Your first inclination in a situation like this with a rookie coming in is to say, you know, heck, this limits the offense and what they can do. But I think this Philadelphia defense has limited this offense so much, the impact of a rookie quarterback, I think, is negligible.
We were talking to Phil Simms in the runway before we came upstairs about the possibility that Graham might be in the game, and he had a great exchange with him this week, didn't he?
Well, the first thing he said, Graham told him on Sunday on the way home from Denver, he says, now, is that Philadelphia defense as good as they say? I mean, do they really come as hard as everybody says they come? Well, Mr. Graham, meet Mr. White, Mr. Golick, Mr. Simmons, and the gang.
Hostetler has completed 11 of 28 passes for 154 yards. 1 touchdown pass. That was to Dave Meggett, and he also threw an interception, and that one really hurt. That was the pass return by Seth Joyner for a touchdown. It was his first NFL interception return for a touchdown. He had 3 returned by fumble for scores earlier in his career. And that seemed to change the tide of the game. The Giants were up 20-6. Joyner returned at 43 yards for a touchdown, and as a result, the Eagles, with 34 unanswered points, have taken a 20-point lead.
I think you really have to respect the toughness of Jeff Hostetler in this situation. As much as he's been battered, as much as he's been hit, it's amazing he's lasted this long. He has not. You talked about him being hit 7 times, sacked 5 times on that last graphic we showed. I mean, scrambled 15 times, and he's still in there. It's amazing.
You know, of course, you don't wish this on anyone, but you kind of forecast what was happening. The cumulative effect was evident earlier in the ball game when you saw Hostetler, and you know what it's like having played with Montana when quarterbacks continue to take a beating and what must be happening to them.
And I saw Joe Montana take a shot from Jim Burt in this left-hand end zone here at Giant Stadium. It's one of the hardest hits I've ever seen a quarterback take. They're bringing the card out for Hostetler. They're going to get him back in the locker room.
So for the second straight week, Jeff Hostetler is taken off on the cart. That card has had to work out for the Giants in the 2 home games. Lawrence Taylor a couple of weeks ago against Green Bay, Sean Landeta moments ago, and now Hostetler. What he's done in this game, I think courageous could fit the description for this quarterback today.
Well, normally you'd say those stats are, you know, not very good, which they're not very good. But I give a lot of the credit for those stats to the Philadelphia defense and not much of it to Jeff Hostetler. He'd have done much better with more protection, more time to throw the ball. Some cases when he got the time to throw the ball, great job downfield so far today of the Philadelphia defense. He's had nowhere to go with the ball.
Remember when it was 20-6 and we were talking about how all of the sniping during the week and the second guessing and the finger pointing could affect a ball club if they fall down early. To the Philadelphia Eagles' credit, we still have almost 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter here. To the Eagles' credit, they stayed together and they hung in and came back, and maybe they'll look back at this game as a pivotal one when this season's over.
It's very possible they could. I think this is a team, though, in Philadelphia that does have a very fragile group psyche. And we talked about Randall Cunningham having sort of a fragile psyche and really having a hard time when things aren't going well for him. Philadelphia is much the same way. And you let the Giants get a couple of big plays in here, Dick, and it's going to be trouble for Philadelphia because that finger pointing starts all over again real fast.
So Jeff Hostetler leaves the field, and Kent Graham, who has thrown 6 passes and completed 4, aboard here. 2nd down and 1 for the Giants on their 39. 2 tight ends and Rodney Hampton, and Hampton gets the first down. Reggie White on the tackle. So Kent Graham, a gutty quarterback who once came back from a dislocated shoulder in high school from the 2nd quarter to the 3rd, started out at Notre Dame, didn't like the option offense, transferred to Ohio State, and he's proven he can handle some injuries.
And he's going to get an opportunity to stand in there and see what a real live NFL first-class pass rush is. If you're the offense, Jim Fassel and Ray Handley for the Giants, you got to give this poor young guy 3 steps and 5 steps in timing patterns. Let him get rid of the ball. Don't make him stand there.
1st and 10 on the 44-yard line. And Graham loses the ball, and the Giants get it. Nearly fumbled it away. There's Jeff Hostetler walking gingerly. Leslie Visser keeping track of Hostetler. There was a loss of 7 on the play. And Clyde Simmons that time applying the heat.
Hostetler trying desperately to shake that off. You talk about Holyfield taking some shots from Bo in that big fight. Nobody took any more shots than Hostetler has today.
So Hostetler heading for the dressing room. Meanwhile, it'll be 2nd down and 16 with McCaffrey in motion for the Giants. Putting pressure on Graham, and the pass knocked away. It was Seth Joyner penetrating against Hostetler. Pass was intended for McCaffrey, and it was knocked away by John Booty.
And Graham got a helmet right under his chops, right into the chin on that last play. Stood in there courageously, stepped up. Here's what he gets for it. Hayaka. Joyner. Hi, Rook.
Well, if you want to get the veteran out of there, you certainly want to go after the rookie. 3rd down and 16 coming up for the Giants with 5:46 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dave Brown, the 3rd Giant quarterback, inactive. 4 wide receivers and Graham out of the shotgun. And his pass is caught by Joey Smith. And a penalty marker down, and the extra yardage on a late hit. That was a 5-yard gain. Giants had to get to the Eagles 46 for the first down. Hopkins and Booty defending on the play. Here's Dick Hantak.
Face mask, 5 yards. We really played it down.
We had rain most of this morning, some of it a good hard downpour, and it stopped just as we started the game, but it has started again. And the fans came prepared today, Rand.
And this is really an unfair situation to throw a young quarterback into against this defense. It's much like last Sunday night. Graham came in on 3rd and 27 against the Bronco defense that had been pounding on Hostetler in that one. Here he's got a lot more time, but he's down by 20 points.
Third down and 7 for the Giants. They're on their own 48-yard line. 4 wide receivers, and the Eagles with a blitz and the pass to Meggett. Penalty marker, another one down out of the backfield. protecting the ball. We would have a Giant first down if the flags are against Philadelphia. Izell Jenkins, a nickel back, making the tackle. And they'll call holding against New York. So wipe out the first down by the Giants.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
Right tackle Doug Riesenberg.
So not only is the defense trying to test Graham, his own offense is trying to test him. Gets a good play off, gets a first down, and back they go.
Eagles stunting, not only sending their ferocious front four, but Seth Joyner, who came storming in the last time and got a loss on the play. See what they do this time on 3rd and 17. It's like throwing him to the wolves on this play.
What you do, Dick, is you blitz and you go after him, and you make him prove he can read a defense.
Graham fires, and it's caught by Smith, and the Giants will have the first down. That's a clutch throw by Kent Graham. Booty covering on the play.
Nice protection for the rookie, and watch him step up and deliver this one. That thing is on a rope in a pretty good downpour. Nice throw by Graham, and if he can get a score here for these Giants, he'll pump up his offense, and even more importantly, he'll pump up his defense.
You saw Joey Smith. That was only his 2nd reception of the season. And the Giants with a first down as the rain picks up on the Eagle 44-yard line. Penalty marker is down, and the pass is nearly picked off. And it was the rookie Mark McMillan who had thoughts of the end zone in his mind. But there's a penalty. A delay of the game call against the defensive team.
Graham to McCaffrey. Defense had 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. It is 1st and 5.
The Philly defense is giving this offense and this rookie quarterback a little bit of life. Emotions are very big in any football game, and you're just sensing a little bit of an ebb in the enthusiasm and the momentum these Eagles had.
Giants need 3 touchdowns to take a lead that they held through most of this first half. It'll be 1st and 5 on the Philadelphia 39. 2 tight ends. And the flea flicker. Graham is back there, and wide open is McCaffrey. He makes the catch. Why not a flea flicker with a rookie in the rain against the Eagles? Why not? A gain of 29 yards.
Dick, it was good execution. It's a nice gutsy call by Ray Handley and the Giants. But absolutely and easily the best thing about this play is the catch that McCaffrey makes. Watch that. How good is that? One hand on a wet ball, running full speed. That is a wonderful catch by McCaffrey. Be careful, Eagles. Don't get too cocky.
McCaffrey came in as the leading receiver for the Giants. Now Rodney Hampton gets no room to roam off the right side. And a loss of 1 yard, and now Howard Cross is surrounded and pushed down by one of the Eagles. He was outnumbered by a big margin here.
Well, where are all his guys? I don't see too many blue shirts there. All the blue shirts are on the outside, all the white shirts are in the inside around Cross. Oh, there they are. They're back in the huddle.
Waiting for the next flea flicker.
Go ahead, Howard. You're on your own.
Once again,
that was a remarkable catch by McCaffrey, who has been nursing injured ribs of his own and was moved from questionable to doubtful to probable this week.
He had some cramping going on in his midsection Sunday night. They couldn't figure out what it is, but there's nothing wrong with his side now.
2nd and goal, the ball at the 11 of the Eagles. Graham under siege, and fortunately avoids the sack by getting rid of the ball. Meggett was the intended receiver, and it was Reggie White right on his neck.
Well, think of the Eagles as a bunch of bees, and Graham's a guy with a lot of honey on him. Look at these guys coming after him. Whoa.
They were nice to him, though, after the throw.
Only because they have to be. The referee takes care of the quarterback.
2:43 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Giants driving. 3rd and goal on the 11-yard line. of the shotgun. Graham is going to be sacked. Whistle blew. And the 7th sack of the game. Clyde Simmons now has 2.
Here they come. Just like Hostetler had, got pressure early sometimes. A lot of times he had nowhere to go. And the rookie had absolutely nowhere to go on that one.
Clyde Simmons with 2 of the 7 sacks administered against the Giants. He came in today with 11, second to Chris Dolman in the NFC.
And I like this decision by Hanley and the Giants. They're going for it on 4th. They have got to have 6 points here.
They're down by 20 points. Graham's pass, and McCaffrey's got it for the touchdown. Kent Graham has already shown this crowd something, regardless of how this game ends. A 4th down touchdown pass to McCaffrey, 17 yards.
There are quarterbacks and receivers that hook up well. And McCaffrey and Graham are obviously in that situation. The backup doesn't always get to throw to all the receivers, but he obviously has a good click with McCaffrey.
Matt Barr's kick is barely good. He hooked it, but it went through. And Kent Graham, with his reaction, his first NFL touchdown against the Eagles, and it's now 40-27.
As times changed, so did the Ford full-size pickup. But it was always one tough truck, and boy, could it haul a load. Today, it's still tough, but it's designed to ride better. It has more style, more comfort, and boy, can it haul a load. Times change, trucks change, but Ford Tough never does. The best never is.
Norelco doesn't just shave close, but incredibly close. Or merely shave in comfort, but exceptional comfort. Because inside Norelco's floating heads, our lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can drop below skin level without the blades touching your face. And once you've shaved that close and comfortable, you know you'll always be comfortable shaving with Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
Introducing Levi's loose-fitting jeans. A loose interpretation of the original.
You are watching the National Football League on CBS Sports.
24-year-old Kent Graham, talking to the coaches upstairs, was 4 for 6 for 69 yards on that 70-yard drive. And it was McCaffrey on the receiving end. And it's 40-27, and Graham got a standing ovation when he came off the field. Kick return by Vi Sikahema. He's had a great day so far. Penalty markers down, and Sikahema. That could be against the Eagles. Illegal block, 15-yard return. And Philippi Sparks making the stop.
On that side of the ball. Yeah, won't see it.
Here's Dick Hantak.
We have multiple fouls on the return team. We have illegal block in the back, which is declined. We also have holding on number 87 of the return team. We will penalize 1/2 distance to the goal line. First down.
So the crowd urging on the Giants defense as Maurice Johnson's penalty is taken. And we'll take a break. Timeout here at Giant Stadium.
Rust. What it can do to the outside of your car, weak, neglected antifreeze can do to the inside. You need the tough anti-corrosion formula of Prestone. Use fresh Prestone every year to give your radiator and cooling systems heavy-duty rust and corrosion protection. No matter what happens to the outside, Prestone protects the inside. Prestone stops the rust that stops your car.
This party's getting off to a good start.
Hold on, I got a surprise.
Ooh, champagne.
You're close. Taste it.
The color's beautiful.
Oh, this is great. Was this new? Yeah, it's Blanc de Noir. It's what?
Blanc de Noir.
Oh, that's easy for you to say.
I've never had a champagne like it.
That's the surprise.
Blanc de Noir, a wonderful new taste from Tots. Blanc de Noir. There's no champagne quite like it.
Introducing Ford Taurus Wagon and the bags. While all wagons have room for bags in back, only Ford has wagons in this class with 2 bags up front, keeping Taurus out front in safety. Ford Taurus Wagon.
Ooh, darling, I need you so. Never gonna let you go.
Capture the ones you love without missing out on the fun yourself with a Sony Handycam, America's most popular camcorder.
Graham for Hostetler, and for the report, let's check in with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Dick, Jeff Hostetler came off the field on a cart. Then back here, he gathered himself and he walked back to the locker room under his own power. He told me it's not his ribs, just that he's slightly dazed. A team official who escorted him said he simply had his bell rung. It's unlikely he'll return. Dick?
All right, Leslie, thank you very much. So it's all in the hands of Kent Graham now, Randy, but right now maybe more so in the Giant defense.
It's in Rod Russ and his defense's hands. Keep attacking. You got nothing to lose at this point.
2 tight ends on first down, and Herschel Walker. Somebody lost a helmet, one of the Giants did, but he only got 2 yards on that play, starting from the 9.
It was Eric Howard, and he was scrambling to keep from being underneath that pile as it came down almost on top of him without that hat on. But that's the kind of attitude this Giants defense needs right here. They need to just bow up, take a chance. If you got a blitz, blitz. If you got a gap, go through it. Make something happen. This is your season, guys. You can stop them. You can get another score. You can win this game. You don't win this game, you are in deep, deep trouble for the rest of this year.
2nd down and 8. Ball is at the 11. Again, Walker. And it takes a bunch of Giants to bring him down, led by Eric Dorsey. It'll be 3rd down after the 3-yard gain. And you're right, Randy. This is the first of 4 straight games the Giants are playing against NFC East teams. If they have any thought of a wild card, you got to figure they must win against Philadelphia and Washington here. And they really need the Dallas game on the road, too. But if they win these 2 games, they're in the hunt, the 2 home games.
And Ray Hanley knows that you see the rain just starting to pour down here at Giant Stadium. Ray Hanley and Rod Russ know this is it. Stop them here, and whatever it takes, bring Pepper on a blitz. Bring Perry Williams in the backside. Just bring it.
3rd down and 5. Cunningham got a lot of time back there. And his pass is incomplete. Herschel Walker covered by Banks, and Marshall and Heller have to be separated.
It'd be a stupid time for anybody in a blue uniform to get a flag called on them for something dumb here by throwing a punch.
It'll be 4th down, and Fiegels will kick from his end zone.
You're always curious as to what started something like that. Look at Big Heller working against Leonard Marshall. Ooh, nearly a good right cross. And Heller, I can tell you, is a guy that does not take that. He's got the reputation of being a real scrapper, and he'll come after you.
Meggett is deep, and Fiegels will kick from the goal line. In looking up in the rain, Meggett on his 40-yard line. Penalty marker down. And now another flag flies, and Meggett is out of bounds at midfield by Ken Rose.
That's going to be an illegal block, and it was done right in front of 3 officials who all got rid of their flags as soon as they saw it happen.
Illegal block on the back on return, number 96, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Canavis McGee, so instead of the ball being in midfield, the Giants will have a little more real estate to cover after the Eagles scored 34 unanswered points in this game. The Giants, with a 4th down touchdown pass from Graham to McCaffrey, now trail 40-27, and they still need 2 scores to take the lead. 19 seconds remain in this 3rd quarter.
And watch for that combination to keep clicking between Graham and McCaffrey. You get a guy that gets in there as a quarterback, a young guy that's inexperienced. He finds somebody he's successful with. He will keep going back to him. That's good for an offense. It's also sometimes good for a defense because the defense knows the young guy is going to go back to where he's comfortable.
One thing we know, Graham's got a little more confidence than he had a few moments ago. 1st down from the Giants 38. Play fake. And Cross. Last option open to Graham was Howard Cross, and Rich Miano had him, and a gain of only 2 yards, and that should do it here in the 3rd quarter. But it's a wild game, and everything has happened. A lot unexpected. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Eagles 40 and the Giants 27. And our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
Imagine a V8 engine that's incredibly powerful, yet easy to maintain. Imagine a 5-speed automatic that's responsive, yet seamlessly smooth. Imagine a luxurious sedan that can actually help make you a better driver. Introducing the BMW 740 iL, a car that will have the competition playing catch-up once again. Imagine that.
Bert sells balloons. Bob sells balloons. Bert sells wacky gifts. Bob sells wacky gifts. Bert delivers. Bob delivers. So if Bob's got everything Bert's got, why is Bert busy and Bob not? Now, do you suppose Bert's got a big color ad in the book 9 out of 10 people use? The genuine Belle of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic Company.
Can't someone pick up my phone? Carrie here.
This isn't Mr. Carey. This is his secretary. Please hold.
Federal Express, I need to check on a package fast.
Keep holding, please. I hear Mr. Carey down the hall. Your package
Only Federal Express can confirm delivery in seconds. Other companies can take days.
That package was delivered at 9:07, signed for by Mr. Henson.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Federal Express. Our most important package is yours.
Herb Dennenberg investigates NutraSweet, Monday at 5:30 and 11.
That's our cart cameraman, Pete Stendel, and it's a day for the Ducks and web feet. We're looking at some web feet right there.
You know, you walk around a little too much before the game, Pete, and that's...
Doesn't look very pretty, does it? The Giants and Kent Graham have a 2nd down and 8 on their 40-yard line. Reggie White indicating that the Giants pulled him off, and that will be the penalty.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. Number 86 simulating the start of a play. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Don't be so nice. He jumped off sides. It's the rookie tight end Brown jumped up. He must have liked the pattern. Obviously, it was something that was designed to go somewhere near him where he wouldn't have gotten off the ball so quick.
A quick hitch. Start of the 4th quarter. Dick Stockton and Randy Cross in a wild game at Giant Stadium. Right now played in rain, which has let up somewhat. 2nd down and 13. Graham's pass, penalty marker down, and the pass is intercepted. There's a flag down, however. Before the play was completed, Eric Allen picked up the tip ball. Allen says, yes, it's me. I get one, don't I? I get a pick.
That wasn't too far off the line of scrimmage. Something like that could be a quick hold, or from the Giants side, a pass interference as far as offensive pass interference.
This is a critical penalty coming up right now. It's against the Eagles. So nullify the interception by Allen. And the penalty against Philadelphia.
Illegal use of the hands on the defense, number 21. Jam to the face. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Big penalty to keep the Giant hopes going here early in this fourth quarter.
Philadelphia Eagles team is making a serious mistake if it lets this young quarterback and these Giants start driving this ball again and get back into this ball game with another score.
Giants need 2 touchdowns to regain a lead they held. 1st and 10 at the 40, and a draw play to Meggett. Meggett going outside, beats Miano outside, and is out of bounds. It appears just shy of the first down and a yard away from midfield. Big day for Meggett. He has a touchdown as a receiver and a touchdown as a runner, as a returner. 92 yards on a kickoff return.
And I don't really feel a lot of that enthusiasm and that crazy wild, reckless abandon that this defense had earlier when Hostetler was in there. I don't know if they've relaxed because they had that 20-point lead for a while, or they don't quite take this young Graham seriously. But it's time for Bud Carson's defense to wake up.
Crowd should get in the game a little more too. They've been kind of quiet. 2nd down and 1. Graham is going to go deep for Stephen Baker, and it's intercepted by John Booty. So that threat ends for the Giants, if you want to call it one, at midfield, as John Booty, the former New York Jet, picks one off. The Eagles will get the ball back when we return.
When it came time to sell the car, I don't know why. I guess I was sort of torn. I mean, we'd been through a lot together. Still, I decided to run an ad with what I thought was a fair price. Next thing I know, I've got all these incredible offers. After a lot of thinking, I went with the lowest bid.
Thanks, Dad. When regular drills hold you back, send in the Ranger cordless drill from Black & Decker. It goes anywhere to handle all the tough jobs. No strings attached. The Ranger cordless drill, a powerful gift idea from Black & Decker.
Imagine a rent-a-car company that offers special delivery right to your door. That's Enterprise.
Here, let me help you.
Enterprise, a special rent-a-car company that gives you special delivery.
Silver summer, silver time, silver line, girl in the silver suit looks so fine, looks so fine. Silver bottom, silver top, silver fish, silver wish come from here, right from here. Ooh, and it tastes so good. Cool light is alright here now. Cool light is alright here now.
This game summary is sponsored by Keystone Light.
3 touchdown returns by the Eagles, one of them an interception, a punt return and a block punt. 7 sacks by Philadelphia. Hostetler was knocked out. Kent Graham, the rookie, in there. And those are Cunningham's numbers as the Eagles start from their 7.
And this Eagle offense has not spent much time on the field so far in this second half. It's been most of the defense and special teams contributing. They've got to put up some first downs right now.
Following the interception, handoff is to Herschel Walker. Make it Heath Sherman, and Sherman brings it out to the 10-yard line and a gain of 3 yards.
In this backed up style of offense, there's usually 2 schools and ways to look at it. It's let's pound the ball, let's get some first down room, let's not put too much pressure on our punter when we have to kick it. Or the philosophy that I played under with Bill Walsh is you maybe run one in the middle and then you go deep. You take one downtown to try to loosen that defense up.
They send 2 wide receivers to the left on 2nd down and 7. And the handoff is to Sherman. He was hit after a gain of about 3. And it was Canavis McGee making the stop from his linebacking spot.
Gotta get it!
It's been a wild game, and the Philadelphia Eagles at one point were down 20-6, but Vi Sikahema with an 87-yard punt return, longest in history. Seth Joyner with the interception return. Ken Rose with the block punt and the score. 7 sacks, including 3.5 by Reggie White.
And you notice how much of that wasn't on offense. A lot of special teams.
3rd down and 3. And there's the give is to Heath Sherman. And Sherman is stopped, I believe, shy of the first down. It's close. Penalty marker down as Perry Williams in a shoving match with a bigger defender. Mark Collins made the tackle. There's a flag down and an injured Giant as well.
It was Mike Shadd over there with Perry Williams. Now we're going to find out which one of those guys made the bad mistake.
Steve Diassi is the shaken up Giant.
If this is against the Giants, this is a huge mistake to make at this time.
We have a continuing action foul. We have a personal foul, a clip on number 79. We will penalize from the end of the run and repeat the down. Third down.
It's Mike Shadd, who you mentioned, and Steve Diassi, who is celebrating his 30th birthday today, leaves the field. So another Giant injury. Sean Landeta, Jeff Hostetler, and now Diassi. And Ed Reynolds will replace Diassi. They'll replay the down.
And that's a defender's nightmare, standing behind at the back of a pile like that and have a lineman trying to make something happen, diving out and catching you in the back of the knees like that.
You can hear on the field someone yelling for a timeout. Jeff Feagles,
I don't know what he's
on
doing
the field right now. The Eagle punter. The Eagle punter, Jeff Feagles, is heading toward the huddle, but it is third down.
There's a correction. Initially, an option was not given to the defensive team. The personal foul, which was clipping, is declined. It will be fourth down.
And that's why Jeff Feagles ran onto the field. So the Giants looking for good field position. They have Dave Meggett back. There's Feagles. And Meggett getting set to return.
With all the big special teams plays we've seen today, Dick, I don't know if you want to go after this one as much as you want to get an opportunity to set your returner up.
Plenty of time left. A high snap. And a good kick. And it's Meggett on his 43-yard line. He gets into Eagle territory. And that'll be fine for the Giants. Two angry teams, as we mentioned at the outset, desperate for a victory today. Rose made the stop, and it'll be Giant ball in Philly territory when we come back.
When your engine is working hardest and needs protection most, Castrol GTX is the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. Fact is, the only way you can get that kind of performance from any other leading brand of oil is like this. Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Try Castrol Super Clean for tough, greasy jobs. If it won't come clean with Super Clean, it won't come clean.
In traffic, you encounter windows of opportunity, which is why we gave the Mercedes-Benz 400e a V8 engine. Right now, Mercedes is offering 2% APR financing on the 400e and other selected models. A window of opportunity that bears a striking resemblance to those you find in traffic. For financing details, see your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Things haven't been that great with Steve and me for a while, so it's not a total surprise. Believe me, it's still a little scary being on your own now. You really need to start thinking about money. And I haven't begun to think about that. When I went through this, I sat down with a broker over at P. & Weber. He looked at what I had, and we came up with a plan that basically just let me get on with my life. How did he know what you needed? Fortunately for me, he asked.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, builder of fine automobiles since 1886. Payne Weber, we believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the special delivery company.
Eagles lead the Giants 40-27. Plenty of time remaining in the fourth quarter. First down, Giants on the Philadelphia 47. Kent Graham looking to throw, and past the hands of McCaffrey. Eric Allen covering on the play, and that'll bring up second down.
And Philadelphia just has to keep attacking this young quarterback. They've got to get pressure on Kent Graham if they want to stop this offense. That's the key to getting after a young, experienced guy, is getting in his face.
Threw an interception his last time. Also a TD pass earlier. 6 for 10. And there's the flip. Rodney Hampton going outside. Penalty marker down. There'll be a late hit. A face mask against Philadelphia. And that'll give the Giants a first down.
Personal foul. Grabbing the face mask on the defense, number 42, 15 yards, first down.
A big one.
And that was ruled by Booty there as not having been incidental. The incidental's 5 yards, and he used that face mask to bring down Hampton. Couldn't get the jersey. So what'd he get? Got the face mask in the helmet. Nice call right there. That is a very dangerous move.
And the last thing that Bud Carson would want from one of his defenders to give the Giants more life and more confidence perhaps for the rookie in relief of Jeff Hostetler, who was knocked out of the game. First down on the 27-yard line. Graham's pass. He was going for Stephen Baker, and it's incomplete. Just moments ago, Jeff Hostetler, who was knocked out of the game, and it wasn't his ribs, Leslie Visser reported, was taken from Giant Stadium in the ambulance to the hospital.
Hopefully just a precautionary move. Anytime you get a head injury like that, a bad concussion, as New York fans know, a receiver like Al Toon that's had the problems he's had with the Jets, they like to be very, very careful when it comes to those kind of hits.
Second down and 10 on the 27. And on the draw play, Dave Meggett switches and goes outside and trips. It looked as if he tripped on his own accord, although maybe an eagle had tripped him up.
That was a nice play by Andy Harmon, because Meggett had some open territory, and he knows it. He's looking back at his other guys saying, what happened there?
He could have gotten 15 yards if Harmon hadn't gotten them.
Watch 91. So it's a screen set up very well. This is called hustle and motor, because Harmon doesn't stop and just gets in there and trips him up.
Giants came in as the second leading rushing team in the National Football League today, 74 yards. They've been relying on the passing, and it's got to be the rookie, Kent Graham, who faces third down and 8 on the Eagle 25. Graham has time. He's going for Callaway, and the pass was not on the mark. Allen was covering, and that'll bring up fourth down. Now what do the Giants do?
There's 11 minutes left, Dick. I think if you have the faith in your kicker, you get in there and you kick yourself a field goal. He knows he just barely overthrew that.
Giants are going for it. On 4th and 8. An interesting call here by Ray Handley.
I think it is interesting. There's plenty of time left here. It's by no means a desperation situation. Look for McCaffrey. He's done it for him earlier.
Out of the shotgun with 3 wide receivers. Fourth down pass. Tipped away. And a great defensive play by the rookie, Mark McMillan out of Alabama. Broke up a Giant attempt to score. It was intended for Stephen Baker. And the Eagles will take over on downs.
And he threw a deep one to McCaffrey for 6 points before, and he was going for Stephen Baker. But watch the close right there. Nice play by the rookie. McMillan comes in right at the last minute. See that? You saw what Graham saw was an open receiver, and what he wasn't counting on was the young corner, McMillan, coming in and closing that last 3 or 4 yards and knocking that away.
McMillan, a 10th round draft pick out of Alabama, only 5'7". Went pretty high to knock that away. So the Eagles take over now, first down on the 25, and Herschel Walker runs right into a stone wall after picking up a couple, led by Ed Reynolds, who replaced Steve Diassi for the Giants at inside linebacker, and a gain of 3. Latest word on Jeff Hostetler, as Randy had indicated, they took him to the hospital for precautionary reasons. The Al Toon story, so close to this New York scene, of course, with the Jets. Don't want to fool around when it comes to anything upstairs. 2nd and 7. Cunningham flips it out to Walker. And Walker still going down the field. All of a sudden, everything stopped, but Walker knew he hadn't gone out of bounds. And he caught the defenses sleeping and winds up with a 41-yard gain to the Giant 31 with Collins pushing him out.
And a great job of persistence by Herschel Walker and a very, very sloppy job by the Giants defense. Perry Williams, what are you doing? Is that a tackle? Give me a break. You can't try to tackle a guy 230, 235 pounds like that. That was a mental lapse at exactly the wrong time for the New York Giants, and a good play by Herschel Walker.
A big day as a receiver, including a touchdown. He's got 2 scores in all, and a first down for the Eagles on the Giants 31. 40-27 Philadelphia. Keith Sherman gets a yard, maybe 2, and was Pepper Johnson in on the play. The Eagles coming into this game tied with the Redskins, who play tomorrow night against the New Orleans Saints in a very tough game for them.
Very tough. You know, the Skins are going into that game in New Orleans against a defense that has got to be pretty fired up after losing last week to the 49ers. And the Redskins have 1 offensive lineman remaining from their original starting 5, Mark Schlereth. I mean, with Swilling and Jackson and Wilkes and Warren and that team, it could get extremely ugly for Mark Rippon real early down with all that noise down in New Orleans.
And the Eagles know this, so they want to take care of business here and maybe take a game lead over Washington in the 2nd place in the division. 2nd down 9 on the 30, and there's Keith Sherman breaking a couple of tackles, and he'll score a touchdown. And the Giants seem to really let up after that Herschel Walker run. They let up on that run, and again on this 30-yard scamper by Sherman. And the Eagles take one big step to winning this game they said they had to win.
Well, Ray, one thing your defense can't blame this on in the last play by Herschel Walker is the scheme. Ed Reynolds gets kicked out by Maurice Johnson, and the rest is Heath Sherman. I think if you're pointing fingers or on the Giants defense, you remember there's only 1 finger pointing out, but there's 3 pointing back at you. And I pay more attention to the ones pointing back at me.
And the kick is good. So Sherman now with 103 yards. And this is the most points the Giants have given up since the Redskins in '75 as Heath Sherman scores a touchdown. And the Eagles lead again by 20.
A look behind the scenes as sports and science converge, brought to you by AT&T. Many football players suffer knee and ankle injuries caused simply by their shoes. The traditional cleat pattern can lock the foot to the turf. Thurman Thomas, last year's NFL Most Valuable Player, has chosen a shoe with a revolutionary cleat pattern. This design helps Thomas's ability to pivot and cut by allowing a releasing motion, thereby reducing the chances for torque-related injury.
AT&T.
When it came time to sell the car, I don't know why. Guess I was sort of torn. I mean, we'd been through a lot together. Still, I decided to run an ad with what I thought was a fair price. Next thing I know, I've got all these incredible offers. After a lot of thinking, I went with the lowest bid.
Thanks, Dad.
Coming up next, CBS Sports presents final round coverage of the Franklin Funds Shark Shootout, hosted by Greg Norman from the Sherwood Country Club in Thousand Oaks, California. And the team of Chip Beck and Ben Crenshaw lead this multi-format competition, which features a scramble in today's round. You like those?
We've seen a little bit of everything, a little golf here too. We've seen a lot of eagles, a few birdies, a few yips, a couple shanks, a couple hooks.
A little bit of everything. And we also have seen a little bit of Eagle defense, Eagle offense coming up when they needed it most. Megan and Smith are back as Ruzek kicks off, and it's going to be Joey Smith. And the Eagles stack him up, led by Saran Stacy. So the Eagles went 75 yards in 4 plays. 30-yard run by Heath Sherman, but it was the 41-yard run by Herschel Walker down the sideline that really set the thing up.
That set it up, and I think the run by Heath Sherman really set the tone and the attitude of the Eagles offense on that touchdown run too. They were not going to be denied, and the defense for the Giants was sloppy in their tackling and got blocked. At a time like that, you've got to find a way not to be blocked.
Leading Houston with 2 seconds remaining. First down on the 21-yard line for the Giants with 8:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Kent Graham. And he's got McCaffrey on a crossing pattern. And the second-year receiver out of Stanford gets first down up to about the 35-yard line. Miano on the stop, and the Giants huddling up.
There was a great story on McCaffrey from last week in that game against Denver. He was experiencing the cramps and had the sore ribs and stuff, and finally they tried to tell him, they said, hey, look, if you're cramping when you're breathing, just run your patterns and don't breathe. Which sounds easy, but try that sometime. Try to run as hard as you can for about 7 seconds and not breathe.
That last pattern was a tough one to run, not breathing. First down for the Giants on the 35. Graham's pass a little too high for Stephen Baker. Graham a little off the mark.
And he's getting good protection from the line. Dave Meggett did a nice job of picking up a blitz from Byron Evans right in the middle of the offensive line on that last play. And Baker was open. He just got a little excited when he saw him open and had a bad throw.
Giants need 3 touchdowns. Trailing 47-27. The Eagles have to be feeling good about themselves at this point. Second down and 10 at the 35. And there's Stephen Baker. That one is right on the money. And out of bounds inside the Eagle 40. Eric Allen defending. 27-yard pickup.
King Graham says, I thought that one was open last time. It was so open last time. I'll do it again. And he did a much better job of lobbing that thing in.
The Eagles have lost 4 straight games on the road after winning their first traveling game of the season, and knowing they needed this game very well. In fact, the players, you know, you say it's a cliche, this is a must game. To a man, every one of the Eagles we talked to yesterday said this is a must game for us.
You know, one thing you notice here, in a normal situation with your starting quarterback, you're probably in a hurry-up offense here. With the rookie in, the Giants are up to the huddle.
First down on the Eagle 38. Graham. He was going for Stephen Baker once more, and it was Mark McMillan defending on the play.
You know, I don't know if this isn't just getting a little bit greedy as far as trying to keep forcing it down there. It seems a lot of the underneath things are there. You know, let this young guy keep completing these passes. Let him get some points. There's 7 minutes and 16 seconds left. You never know what can happen. You get a touchdown, you get a fumble.
Well, we've had enough of those today. We have had 7 turnovers. Joey Smith brought in the play from Ray Handley. Second down and 10. 7:16 remaining in the fourth quarter. Penalty flag. Going for Callaway that time. Incomplete. Allen again defending. He's had a busy day today, but flag appears to be against Philadelphia.
Yeah, it looked like Reggie at the top of the screen there jumped off sides.
Offside. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
You get a chance to take a look at Kent Graham's hand. See his left hand doesn't have a glove on it. He's got a glove on the right hand. Used to be in bad weather, you might cover up the left hand, but you never covered up the right hand. Those gloves they wear, that surface is so tacky and adheres to the ball so well. When it's wet, it's a real advantage, and it allows the quarterback to actually throw the ball better.
Second down and 5. And we'll have a penalty likely against the offense. Steve DiAsi, who has helped off the field, one of several injuries to the Giants today.
Offense, number 60.
Sean Lendetta.
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Lendetta and Hostetler taken off on the cart.
It's a heck of a way for Steve DiAsi to celebrate his 30th birthday, too.
Eric Allen's celebrating a birthday today, too.
Among others, Dick, huh?
Well, I didn't want to.
We won't talk about how many fingers and toes we're going to use up on that one, but happy birthday.
Need a whole team. Second down and 10. Thank you. And another flag. This game has stalled. It's a flag parade now.
False start. Offense prior to the snap. Number 76.
It'd be understandable with the rookie quarterback. 2 straight penalties against the offense.
And I think Carl Banks there pretty much sums up the mood of this Giants defense and Giants team right now, reflecting back on this 20-point deficit right now.
This is the most points that the Giants have given up in a home game since 1967. And you would have thought with the Eagles' problems offensively that Philadelphia wouldn't have been the team, but a lot of it on special teams and on defensive scores. Second down and 15. Back on the 43. And the pass is overthrown, and now we have a late flag. I almost said at least we didn't have a penalty on this play, but a late flag is thrown.
Right in that area of a late hit when it's thrown by the referee like
Personal foul. Defense, blow to the head. 15 yards. First down.
Mike Golick appears to be the guilty party.
Well, in the last 5 plays, we've ran a grand total of 9 seconds off the clock. There's still 7:07 to go here. And a good situation when the defense seems to be a little bit letting down at this point for this young quarterback to take some shots, get some more crossing patterns going. He hasn't been very successful down the field, but he's had receivers open in the 15 to 20-yard area. And here we'll see the late shot to the head. Bang. Ooh. Not even an average shot. I guess if you're going to take one, you might as well make it a good one and go and put that helmet right under Graham's chin.
First down for the Giants on the Eagle 28. As a result of that flag, here comes pressure on Graham, and his pass into coverage. Intended for Baker. Eric Allen defending. Brown wanted pass interference, and that was a good clean play by Eric Allen and company.
Well, Dick, let's take a look at that. I don't know. I think you could make an argument for a little early contact right there before that ball ever got to Stephen Baker. But that's what happens when you go to a couple Pro Bowls and people recognize you as being that quick reacting closing cornerback. You get away with a couple of those. And Eric Allen is, in the man's sense, a very, very strong cornerback in this league.
Graham will operate out of the shotgun on second down and 10. 7:01 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Eagles lead the Giants 47-27. And Graham's going up on top for Baker. And he was defended again by Eric Allen. And you wonder about McCaffrey, a man that he has been able to connect with. And McCaffrey was in an under pattern.
Well, the ideal situation you would want if you wanted to get a matchup somewhere physically, you would want to get McCaffrey at 6'5", working against the rookie McMillan at 7, 8, 9, right around in there. He's giving up, at least a healthy 9 inches to McCaffrey. Put that ball up there and let him go after it.
How about a fade to the receiver McCaffrey, who is in the slot to the right. 3rd down and 10. And he drills it, and the pass is incomplete. Flag is down, so Callaway might have been held downfield by Mark McMillan, and that would give the Giants new life.
They call a little contact, illegal contact downfield on that one.
Pass interference. Pass interference on the defense, number 29. 1st down.
On McMillan, 1st down.
We were talking about McMillan going against Callaway at the top of the screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pass interference. He was beat on that quick move, and he just reached back, tried to trip him. Good call by the official, and you know, if he actually goes through with that and gets him, it's a good job by McMillan trying to stop that play.
Here are the penalties. 15 penalties in the 2nd half to only 3 in the 1st half. 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line for the Giants. Graham flips it off to Dave Meggett. Meggett looking for room. And he gets inside the 5-yard line, where he is met by Eric Allen and Wes Hopkins. 7-yard pickup, and still enough time remaining. 6:35, and you say, what, 3 touchdowns? But if the Giants get one here, they have to hope for a turnover. 3 and out, maybe an onside kick, but Philadelphia, tell you what, their offense looks like it's starting to click. It may not go easy.
But their best offense at this point is this Eagles defense that's on the field. It's scored in the past. It has caused turnovers today, and it needs to stop the Giants here.
2nd down and 3. Jared Bunch. Keep in mind the Giants can get a 1st down without scoring a touchdown. Seth Joyner making the tackle and a gain of 2 yards. Meggett getting the play this time from Ray Handley. It'll be 3rd down and 1, and the Giants have 2 plays as Bunch limps off the field. 2 plays to try to get it in, or at least get the 1st down.
And Dave Meggett in this situation is the perfect kind of a back. He's got the speed to get outside, and you'd love a situation where you get him manned up on a linebacker on a pass.
3rd down and 1 at the 2. Graham being pushed back. No flags down. Terrific inside push by the Eagles defensive line, and that'll bring up 4th down and 1.
Just a surge inside. You've got Joyner blitzing. You've got Hopkins blitzing. You've got Golick. Wow, that can hurt with that head slamming down to the turf like that.
Jared Bunch comes back in the game. It'll be 4th down and 1 on the 2-yard line. I think William Roberts has been announced as an eligible receiver, lining up as a tight end to the left. Number 66. 4th down and 1. And here is Rodney Hampton. Touchdown Giants with 5:17 to go. 2-yard touchdown run for Rodney Hampton. That's his 10th touchdown of the year.
Well, so much for passing it and trying to fool somebody. Let's go to our power formation with a 250-pound fullback, our big, strong running halfback. And enough of this monkey business. Let's just jam this thing into the end zone.
Matt Barr will attempt the extra point. And the Giants penalty marker down. Let's wait. Flag is down. Kick is good.
There's a flag on the play.
If the kick remains successful, the Giants again will need 2 touchdowns in a wild game. These teams have played a lot over the years. This is the 116th time.
Offsides on the defense, number 38. Point is good. There will be a 5-yard penalty on the kickoff.
So I think in the 60 years that these teams have played, as you see Hampton scored, I don't know how many more wilder games they've played than this one.
It seems Europeans have a passion for certain things American. And one of them happens to be the reliable, efficient delivery of a certain American delivery company, UPS. Fact is, we've built the most comprehensive delivery network in Europe. So next time you need something shipped there, use the outfit Europeans find, well, so fashionable. UPS. We run the tightest ship in Europe.
The Eagles lead the Giants 47-34. 81 points have been scored. And we still have 5:17 remaining. That's the man who scored the latest points other than the Barr extra point. That was Hampton. 10 plays, 79 yards, eating up 3.5 minutes. And remember, the Giants have scored their last 2 touchdowns with the rookie Kent Graham at quarterback after Jeff Hostetler was knocked out of the game, taken off on a cart, and has gone to the hospital for precautionary measures.
And Barr's doing the only thing he can do in this spot, and that is an onside kick.
And here it is, and it's fielded by Eric Allen. So the Eagles will take over at the 45. Today's game was produced by Mark Wolf and directed by Larry Cavallina. The coordinating producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann, and the director of the NFL Today is Duke Struck, and the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. Our regular director Mike Arnold had to sit this one out. His wife Renee gave birth to a baby boy Friday night, Mark Tyler. We wish mother, son, and the dad well, and Larry Cavallina has done a superb job filling in for Mike these last 2 weeks. First down on the 45-yard line, and Heath Sherman up ahead gets into Giant territory, and a gain of 6 on first down. Pepper Johnson and Eric Howard on the stop.
And that's the extent of the Philadelphia Eagles offense you should see from here on out. And that's just bludgeon ball, trying to run the ball exclusively, make the Giants burn up their timeouts and just not give the ball back to them, just burn out the clock. You know, it's an area that we haven't talked too much about. The offensive line for Philadelphia has done a very good job this year. You know, people talk about the Cunninghams and the Herschel Walkers, and they talk about the great defenses with the Reggie Whites. But the offensive line of Philadelphia was a group that was very much maligned. Anton Davis has done a nice job. They got Floyd in there at right guard doing a very good job. Heller's back from an injury at left tackle. As a group, they've done a solid job here in 92. They've got a chance to get Herschel Walker 1,000 yards. And I can tell you as a former offensive lineman, that's a real yardstick by which a lot of lines are measured.
Also, to back that up, the Eagles offensive line has been called for only 6 holding calls, the fewest in the league.
Oh, don't say that. There'll be one on this play after saying that.
Is that a jinx call? Heath Sherman is stopped. Ed Reynolds knifes in for no gain on the play. But when you look back at this game, you have to remember, as the Giants call a timeout, it was 20-6 in favor of the Giants, and they had all the momentum in this game. And the Eagles hung in there. Seth Joyner with an interception return for a score. The first of 3 TDs by the defense or special teams. 34 unanswered points before the Giants came back. Hard-earned, to say the least, for Philadelphia today.
And it's an Eagle team that can look down the rest of their schedule here and be happy and look and see they've got some tough games, but this is a good momentum opportunity for this team.
Let's take a look at the Eagles schedule, and it's not an easy one, beginning with next week in San Francisco. Seattle may be the only possible breather, although, you know, Washington's been banged up. They always play them tough, and then the Giants in the finale.
And then you look at the from the Giants side, Thanksgiving Day in 4 days. They've got the Dallas Cowboys down in Dallas, and they have all NFC East for a while. They squeeze a Phoenix in there as far as quality teams go, but Phoenix has been awful tough on a lot of people.
Third down and 4 at the 49-yard line. Herschel Walker tough to bring down. And he stays in bounds as the clock runs. 4:45 remaining, a gain of 2 yards. There's the time remaining. Looking at the Giants schedule, you just talked about the short week coming up against the Cowboys, then 10 days to get ready for Washington. But basically, it would have to win the rest of their games to have a playoff hope now.
They really do, and they're starting to get to the position too, I think, where defensively is where Ray Handley has probably got the lion's share of his problems here. You obviously hope his quarterback, Jeff Hostetler, is going to be okay with the hits and everything he took today. But defensively is where the problems are right now for the Giants and their intensity.
Mark Collins was shaken up. Giants have used their last timeout. But it was one of those games, Randy, that you didn't hear the catcalls of the crowd. Ray must go, which they heard earlier in the year. The Giants had won 3 in a row and then were really embarrassed at Denver last week. But this was just a wild game and an entertaining game that the Giants apparently will not win. Kent Graham now has come on for 2 straight games in relief of Hostetler and McMillan. Getting a little workout there on the sideline. 4th down, and Jeff Eagles will kick. Fair catch called for by Meggett at the 16-yard line. Well, let's see what's coming up tonight on CBS. Well, Woody Allen says he didn't do it. Mia Farrow says he did. Woody tells his story to Steve Kroft tonight on 60 Minutes. And then it's Murder, She Wrote, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Nightmare in the Daylight, starring Jacqueline Smith and Christopher Reeve. That's all coming up tonight on CBS.
Well, it's been a little overcast. We haven't seen too much daylight here, and this has definitely been a nightmare for Ray Handley and these Giants, because they needed to win this game. Even more so than Philadelphia from a momentum standpoint, the Giants needed to get a win here. Like you mentioned, got off to a good, quick start, up 20-6, and then just sort of went away, and specifically went away on special teams, where Philadelphia really killed them during that surge period.
Penrose is blocked, punt, the touchdown, and then by Sikahema with the 87-yard punt return for a score. First down on the 16. Graham's pass off the hands of McCaffrey, incomplete. The Eagles will now have won their last 4 in a row against the Giants and 8 of their last 9. They really have had the Giants numbered. But of course, the swirl always concerns Randall Cunningham, who was lifted against the Raiders, and Jim McMahon went the route. What about Cunningham and the kind of game he had today and where his head is at?
Well, I think it buys him some time. Obviously, you saw their schedule. They're looking at staring down the 49er defense, Chris Dolman and those Vikings. I mean, they've got some tough duty coming up here. It buys Cunningham some time. I don't think it was an incredibly impressive performance by the Eagles offense.
Graham's pass knocked away and a flag, and they'll call McMillan for interference on Callaway, and the Giants will have a first down.
McMillan's got to understand, as a rookie, he's not going to get away with the things that Eric Allen's going to get away with on the other side.
Number 29, first down.
Randall Cunningham, 10 for 21, 209 yards, 3 interceptions to go with the 2 scores.
You know, those are you know what those are? Those are Jim McMahon numbers. Jim McMahon is perfectly happy with having numbers like that if he gets his team in the end zone and his team wins. Randall Cunningham, on the other hand, is used to having much more impressive numbers. He passed for over 70% in the first 3 games.
First down on the 34. Graham is going to take off. He'll get the first down and is stopped just short of midfield by Seth Joyner. A 15-yard pickup. One thing we didn't see much today is Randall Cunningham taking off and running.
Graham trying to get things going here. Move this ball down the field with just under 4 minutes to go.
Pass might have been tipped at the line. We saw Steve Young last week, a quarterback who has the ability to take off, and you've seen Randall Cunningham not running so much today. What would you say, where are the 2 quarterbacks as far as the making the decision to run and how much they should run?
Well, I think Randall Cunningham is without a doubt probably the best running quarterback I've ever seen. I mean, Steve Young's done some great things, but over his career, Cunningham's done some very amazing things. It all comes back to confidence. It all comes back to your head.
Graham on second down and 10, and Meggett can't hold on to it.
You know, talking about Cunningham, it's all got to do with how you feel, what your perception of your abilities are at that time. You know, at this time, Steve Young is the best running quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Cunningham's done some great numbers in the past, and you know, you got a quarterback like that that's thinking about running, thinking about passing. Should I run? What will they think? You know, it's just not good. And I think you're looking at a guy there in Randall Cunningham that's got all the ability in the world, can solve a defensive puzzle as good as anybody in the league. But the quarterback's confidence is the one thing you can't teach. It's the one thing you can't instill. It's the one thing that's just got to be there.
3rd down and 10 from the 49. Graham being chased by Golic, and he is dropped by him back on the 45-yard line of the Giants. A loss of 4 yards, and it'll be 4th down. Ricky Waters, having an amazing year at running back, has scored a 3-yard touchdown run to give the 49ers the lead. It is 4th down. Giants need 14 yards. Graham pumped a couple of times. Now hits Callaway. Very close to the 1st down. Very close to see where they spot the ball. Miano was defending.
They have to get just past the 41-yard line. This is going to be extremely close.
They're going to measure it. Stop the clock with 3:06 remaining. Jets trailing New England 10-0 in the 1st quarter. Patriots coming off their 1st win of the season last week. Minnesota Vikings beat the Browns today, so they've been the real thing since the first couple of games of the year when people weren't quite so sure.
And the Atlanta Falcons only lost the 2nd half to the Buffalo Bills 3-0. Unfortunately for them, they lost the 1st half 38-7.
It is a 1st down. On the 41-yard line, Graham. He's got McCaffrey. McCaffrey wants to go out of bounds, and he can't do it. The clock continues to go. It was Booney and McMillan who kept him in.
And nobody's told Kent Graham and this Giants offense are down by 13 and struggling against a good defense, because there's no quitting these guys right now.
Graham's pass. Meggett has it. Loses the ball. A Giant might have dove in, but let's see what the official call is. And it's the Eagles recovering the fumble. And that is the 8th turnover of the ball game. And Mike Golic cradles the football.
And this is just a strip job. Meggett with the pass underneath. Now watch this right there. Nice job by Seth Joyner, just coming in there and stripping that ball away. Right inside. Meggett was thinking about getting that second hand on there, didn't do it, and Joyner yanked that thing right out.
Golic with the fumble recovery, and the turnovers are 4 and 4. There were 8 sacks by the Eagles defense. Philadelphia with the ball. 1st down. Herschel Walker breaks out of the pack, and a very impressive run. Gets at least 9 yards with Renee Thompson making the tackle, and we're winding down to the 2-minute warning in this game. One time the Giants led 20-6, and now the 2-minute warning in a 47-34 shootout here at Giant Stadium. Dick Stockton and Randy Cross back at Giant Stadium. Most of the fans have left. We had rain intermittently today, but let's take a look now at the playoff picture. Dallas, San Francisco, and Minnesota. These are all updated right now. Division leaders, New Orleans, which plays Washington tomorrow night, would be the leading wild card team. Give the Eagles a win with a 47-34 lead. They would go to 7-4, and the Redskins at 6-4. 2nd down and 1. Stumbling forward is Herschel Walker into Giant territory for the 1st down. An 8-yard gain for Herschel Walker, who's had a solid day today. He did fumble, but he has scored 2 touchdowns. And we want to remind you that the Shark Shootout coming up next. And today's format will be the scramble.
And to quote old John Daly, it's grip it and rip it day. Those guys will just be letting them fly.
Our thanks to Marty Aronoff and Dave Corris for their work up here in the booth. Giants will drop to 5-6 on the year. Coming into this game, both teams had the same conference record, which is used as a tiebreaker. But now the Giants will be 4-4 in the NFC and the Eagles 5-3. Game the Giants needed, but the Eagles with a rally late in the first half. And do you remember a game where you saw as many spectacular plays from special teams?
I can't remember a more sloppily played game, especially in that first half, where ugly things were happening, but every time an ugly thing happened, it either produced points or something very nice behind it happened that produced points.
And the Eagles have just run out the clock. Well, these teams have played 116 times over 60 years. They've been big rivals. And today's final score, 47-34, and the combined total of 81 points are the most in any game of this long series. So the Eagles live to fight another day. And they've got some big fights coming up, including the Niners next week. But they really earned this game. They would not be denied. And so the final score from Giants Stadium, the Eagles 47 and the Giants 34. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show as Greg and Terry get you caught up on all the scores and highlights from today's NFL action. Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.